Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto is betrayed and gains the Rinnegan Chunin exam. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Kurai no Tsuki and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. The hero's betrayal. Naruto stood over Kakashi with a sad smile on his face. Why are you doing this, Naruto? Because I've been offered a purpose by someone who doesn't see me as a demon. Please, it was an accident, she didn't mean what she said. Goodbye, sensei. And with that, Naruto left a paralyzed Kakashi and Konoha. 1 hour earlier, Naruto and Sasuke were at the training grounds going all out on each other. Naruto appeared behind Sasuke with a bunch-in holding a kunai. He ran towards his teammate at full speed but was kicked from under by Sasuke, who had dropped down faster than the eye could follow. Naruto fell back and wiped a trickle of blood from his mouth as he pulled out a kunai. Sasuke did the exact same thing and stared at his teammate Sharingan blazing. So do you still think you can beat me, Dobe? He believe it. They ran towards each other at full speed and met with their kunais clashing. Sasuke flipped backwards and yelled, "Fireball jutsu." Naruto jumped in the air and spin-kicked Sasuke in the face while getting hit in the arm by the fireball. Sasuke recovered quickly and threw his kunai at the blonde, who dodged and punched Sasuke in the gut, effectively knocking the air out of him. What were you saying, team? Shut up. In his fury, Sasuke jumped up and once again yelled, "Phoenix Fire Jutsu." Multiple fireballs shot at Naruto, and he got hit by half of them. Damn it. He ran towards the raven-haired boy and yelled his signature jutsu, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Sasuke was then surrounded by 10 Narutos and smirked. He started throwing shuriken to destroy all his targets, but missed too. They came at him and the first one kicked Sasuke into the air while the second came from above and slammed his foot into the Uchiha's face. Said Uchiha landed with a crash loud enough to alert any ninja close by. Ha ha ha, looks like I won, team. Guess you shall. The blonde's sentence was cut short when he received a fist in the face. He cried in pain and looked up to see a head of pink hair. What was that for Sakura? His reply was another fist in the face. Can't you see Sasuke's hurt you, Baka? I didn't think it was that bad. You idiot, he just got out of the hospital. He start. Shut up and leave him alone. You know he would never lose if you didn't challenge him when he's injured. Naruto was slightly taken aback by this comment, and hoped she was done. He was wrong. You don't get it, do you, Naruto? You'll never be as strong as Sasuke. Sasuke's achievements are honored by the entire village, and yet you tried to steal the attention from him by fighting him. Don't you understand, Naruto? Nobody cares about you because you're a monster. Everyone hates you. Sakura carried Sasuke to the hospital while Naruto stood there. He felt a sharp pain in his heart, and started running home, tears rolling down his face. Kakashi was walking around the village with no clear purpose when he heard someone running. He turned to see Sakura carrying Sasuke on her back. He was badly injured. Sakura! What happened? That stupid Baka Naruto hurt Sasuke. Get him to the hospital, I'll go talk to Naruto. I wish he'd leave. What? I wish Naruto would just disappear. Sakura. Kakashi realized that the scene was attracting attention. He saw a lot of people with anger apparent on their faces. What did that little demon do now? Did he hurt the Uchiha? He did, didn't he? Let's get that little bastard before he hurts anyone else. Yeah. Kakashi was shocked to see Sakura nodding. He clenched his fists and yelled, "Sakura, get Sasuke to the hospital and all of you go home." But Kakashi, now. Fine. As the people left, Kakashi went to find his student. Naruto was running across the village trying to hold back more tears. He shuddered every time someone said monster or demon. He turned into an alley only to be kicked in the face by a villager. 3 more joined into the beating. "You little bastard! How dare you hurt the Uchiha? Time to teach you a lesson, you little shit!" They kept hitting and kicking until a sinister voice came from behind them. "Leave the child alone and leave." "And who do you think you are?" The man turned around only to find a kunai embedded in his throat. The other men ran away screaming in terror. Naruto looked up to find himself face to face with a pale man with long black hair and glowing yellow eyes. Who are you?" "My name is Orochimaru, and you must be Naruto. Why did you save me?" "I won't lie to you. I am a missing nin of the Leaf Village and also the most powerful of the Sannin. I came here for you, Naruto. Some may think I just want your body, but they are wrong. I came because I once suffered as you have, and I don't want you to live in a village where you are hated." "What do you want?" Orochimaru had a smile, but not one of malice, just a genuine smile. "I will give you a curse seal, Naruto." "A what?" "It will give you power, and an easier way of using the Kyuubi's chakra. I made it specifically for you since it's not for me to eventually take your body. I want you to come with me to my sound village where you will be respected and trained properly." "But Konoha is my home." "It was mine too, but sometimes we have to let go of such things." "No one will hate me in your village?" "No one, I promise." Orochimaru leaned forward and bit Naruto's neck and a curse seal appeared. It was a miniature version of the Kyuubi seal. It didn't hurt but rather felt relaxing. He then felt a slight surge of power go through his veins. "That will do for now. When we are in my village I will teach you how to further use this power." "When do we leave?" "Meet me at the gates in 30 minutes with anything you want to bring with you." "Hi." Naruto ran to his apartment with a small smile on his face. Orochimaru watched him leave and disappear, knowing he had one more thing to do. The Sandaime Hokage was looking out his window when he heard his office door open. You know it's impolite to just barge in. he said without turning to see who had entered his office. Forgive me, Sarutobi-sensei. The third Hokage's eyes went wide when he heard the unmistakable voice. To what do I owe the honor, Orochimaru? Kokuka, haven't you already seen it in that crystal ball of yours? Yes, I saw you corrupt Naruto's mind with your lies. I wasn't lying. I am not going to use him as I have done so often with others. So you're going to treat him well and make him accepted? Yes. Fine, it might be for the best. I just hope he has a better life. He will, and I'm sure you'll see him again when the Chunin exams come along. He will be against us and out for revenge, won't he? Kokuka, we both will. As Orochimaru disappeared, the Sandaime looked outside with a sad smile. Suddenly he realized what Orochimaru meant. Kokuka, we both will. Damn him, Genma. The door opened and Genma ran in and bowed. Yes, sir? Get the Umbu, go to the gates and stop Uzumaki from leaving. Leaving? He's going with Orochimaru. Right away, sir. Outside the door stood Kakashi. His face had lost all color, and he was sweating. Naruto. He then ran out the Hokage tower, towards the gates. Naruto arrived at the gates only to find his lazy sensei blocking his way. Umbu will be here soon, Naruto, so I suggest you go home. I'm sorry, but I've already made up my mind, Kakashi-sensei. I will not let you go, Naruto. Kakashi appeared behind Naruto and grabbed him so that he couldn't escape. Let me go. I'm sorry, Naruto, but this is your village and I won't let you turn your back on it or your friends. Friends, he chuckled. Sakura said she hated me and that everybody hated me. She was just mad, she didn't mean it. I'm tired of being jerked around. Naruto. Let go. Kakashi let go as he saw black markings cover his student's body. Orochimaru offered me a better life and I accepted. Naruto turned around and revealed his now blood-red eyes. Kakashi wanted to move but found himself unable to do so. He turned his head to see the snake Sannin smiling evilly at him. He wanted to beat him to a bloody pulp but instead received a kick in his stomach from the snake man. He fell to the ground and couldn't get back up because of the paralyzing jutsu. Please, Naruto, don't. Naruto stood over Kakashi with a sad smile on his face. Why are you doing this, Naruto? Because I've been offered a purpose by someone who doesn't see me as a demon. Please, it was an accident. She didn't mean what she said. Goodbye, sensei. And with that, Naruto left a paralyzed Kakashi and Konoha. Orochimaru followed his new student, and they vanished into the darkness. Naruto! He cried before he fell unconscious. Chapter 2, Aftermath. The gates of the Sound Village opened and the villagers gathered around to see what was happening. Many bowed or shivered at the sight of their leader. With him was a boy no older than 12. He was wearing a black short-sleeved shirt over a sleeveless fishnet undershirt. He had black pants and ninja sandals. Over it all he had a white cloak. But his most impressive feature was his whisker-like scars, his blonde hair and his blue eyes. He seemed a bit nervous, but the snake Sannin placed a hand on his head and said with a raised voice, "This is Naruto Uzumaki. You are all to treat him with great respect for he is the newest member of our village." To these words the blonde smiled. A light smile, but still the villagers seemed content with this, and the ninja seemed curious and perhaps even respectful towards him. He was Orochimaru's newest student after all. The two ninja walked towards the Otokage temple. Once inside, Orochimaru turned his head towards his new student. "So are you happy with the change of villages?" "Yes, Orochimaru-sama. Excellent. I told you you had nothing to worry about. I guess you were right," the blonde said with a chuckle. "Well, here we are. This is the elite training room. It's huge." As they walked into the room, Naruto saw 5 ninja watching him from the viewing balcony. But the one that really caught his attention was the pink-haired girl. He gazed at her until she yelled, "What are you looking at, shithead?" Everyone's sweat dropped at the comment, and Naruto blushed and looked at the ground under him. He heard the big ninja say something to the girl. "Please watch your language, Tayuya." "Shut the fuck up, Jirabu." Orochimaru kept walking until they entered a small hallway. Naruto, who was still thinking about the pink-haired girl called Tayuya, accidentally walked into someone. Thinking he would be yelled at like in Leaf, he looked at the person. Instead of an angry man getting ready to hit him, it was a white, silver-haired teen with glasses and a sympathetic smile. "Sorry about that, I didn't see where I was going," said the gray-haired man. "Ah, Kabuto, I was wondering when you would show up." "Naruto, this is Kabuto, one of my elite shinobi. It's nice to meet you, Kabuto-san." "Haha, no need for such formalities. You can just call me Kabuto." "Hi, you two can talk later because I have something important to give you, Naruto," interjected the snake Sannin. "You said that about my clothes too." "Yes, well, orange really isn't. I like my new clothes. I could only buy orange in Konoha." "I see. See ya later, Kabuto." The two walked into Orochimaru's office and shut the door. "So this is the Kyuubi's container. It seems Lord Orochimaru has finally found the key to making the village more powerful." Kakashi woke up to find himself in the hospital with the Sandaime sitting next to him. He looked around wondering what had happened when it all came back to him like a kunai stabbing him in the gut. "Naruto, you're up, Kakashi." "Lord Hokage, what happened?" The Hokage smiled a sad smile and said in a low voice, "Orochimaru has taken Naruto with him to his village, and you were knocked out by his jutsu. So Naruto is his next body." No, surprisingly, I sensed no malice from my old student when he took the boy, and besides, with the Kyuubi he cannot be a container for Orochimaru. So why did he take him? I believe he was reminded of himself when seeing Naruto and decided to take him with him and what? He's taken one of our most important ninja. What do you mean? If Naruto is against us and Orochimaru attacks us, it will be disastrous. Damn it, you are free to go now, Kakashi. I'm sure the remaining members of your team are waiting for you and they don't know what transpired yet. Hi. Kakashi arrived at the training grounds to find Sakura talking to Sasuke. Are you sure you're okay to be out of the hospital? I'm fine. Okay, but that stupid baka Naruto really was stupid to hurt you. At her words, Kakashi felt the pain in his heart worsen as if the kunai was being pushed further into his gut. He walked into the field. Kakashi-sensei. You're here. Where's the dobe? That little idiot doesn't matter, Sasuke. We can train without him. Anger flowed through Kakashi at her words. Shut up, Sakura. Both his students looked at him in worry. What did you say? You don't know yet, but Naruto is gone. Gone? You shattered his heart with your hateful words, Sakura. Because of that he left the village with our enemy Orochimaru. He's gone because of the combined hate of you, and this entire village. Both his students were wide-eyed. Sasuke started trembling and turned to Sakura. What did you tell him? I was mad at him for hurting you and… What did you tell him? Said Sasuke while grabbing her wrist painfully. I said I hated him, that he was stupid and that nobody wanted him around. You bitch. And with that he walked away, leaving a crying Sakura and a shocked Kakashi. Said Jounin just stood still as the cherry blossom fell to the ground and wept. He walked to the memorial stone and let a tear flow down his eye. Obito, what should I do? Naruto walked in his new village searching for the training grounds. Everyone smiled at him, and he smiled back at them. He was happy. Here he didn't have to pretend to be stupid and always carefree. He walked in his white cloak thinking back to what Orochimaru had told him. What did you want to give me, Orochimaru-sama? Well, Naruto, since you are now a genin of Otogekyo, you deserve to have this. He held out a sound headband. Naruto removed his leaf headband and threw it in the garbage in the corner, and put his new one on at the exam same place. I am honored to serve you, Orochimaru. The honor is all mine, Naruto. Thank you. Orochimaru smiled and said, you may leave and explore the village or go to the training grounds. We shall start training in it tomorrow. Hi. Arriving at the training grounds he heard music. It was beautiful yet mysterious, just like the pink-haired girl playing it. Naruto froze and mentally berated himself for such thoughts. He did however recognize the girl playing the flute as Tayuya. He decided to try to talk to her. Hi there. The music stopped, and she stared at him in confusion, shock, irritation and finally anger. Who told you? You could just sneak up on me, you little shit. Well, I thought you might like some company, and well, your music was really beautiful. Is that so? Yeah. Well, fuck off, you shitface. I'll beat you to a pulp if you don't leave. Those words brought unwanted memories to Naruto's mind. I'll beat you to a bloody pulp for hurting the Uchiha. Everyone hates you. Stupid demon. Tayuya was expecting the blonde to say something stupid again, but instead his eyes grew cold and distant. He was clenching his fists, digging his nails into his skin and almost drawing blood. You okay? She wasn't used to being nice to people, but looking into those blue orbs she saw a world of hurt and loneliness. I'm fine. It was obvious that he wasn't, but Tayuya was at a loss for words. He turned around and walked away. After a few minutes he heard her music start again, but it was sad. The memories came back and he ran as far as he could before arriving at a small pond. He fell on his knees and cried for the first time since he left Konoha. There was no going back now, he had to be strong. At that moment a memory came to him. Do you have anyone precious to you? I would give my life for Zabuza's goal to become reality. Haku is my weapon. Your words cut deeper than any blade. Haku and Zabuza, they had a goal, a purpose each other, he thought to himself. What about me? Lord Hokage, why hasn't Uzumaki been branded a missing nin yet? Because of Orochimaru. What do you mean? When he came to Konoha he stole all of Naruto's records. I don't understand. Technically Naruto doesn't exist in the Leaf Village, so if he were to join another village and they had his records, well, what do you think would happen if we accuse the ninja that has technically lived in another village all his life? If another village has his records and he's made a missing nin, they would declare war on us. Damn that Orochimaru. I'm sorry, Hayashi, but it's out of my and the council's control. I see. Well, I must leave now. Goodbye. The Hokage chuckled to himself after the Hyuga left the room. He was thankful he didn't have to brand Naruto a missing nin. I guess you've done me a favor, Orochimaru. He heard a soft whimper from under his desk. He was confused at first, but it didn't take him long to figure out the source. You can come out now, Konohamaru. The third's grandson came out with bloodshot, had been crying. He did his best to cover it with a grin, but the third was not a fool. You're good, old man. I know you've been crying, Konohamaru. Why did he have to leave? I'm sorry, Konohamaru, but there's nothing we can do about it. But why did he leave? The Sandaime just gave his grandson a hug because he couldn't answer the question. Naruto walked into Orochimaru's office after being summoned there by a sound Jounin. Lord Orochimaru, you asked for me? Yes, Naruto, I have two things to tell you. What? First off is that when we train you're going to need to choose yourself a weapon. Might have to think about that. The second reason I asked you here was to tell you that tomorrow you have a mission. A mission already? What about training? Kukuku, I will be coming with you on the mission, that way you'll see your skills firsthand. You're coming with me? Can the Otokage leave his village that often? My rules are different than others, that way I don't have to always be around, and besides I'm your sensei. Alright. Your teammates are Dosakin, Yuta and Tayuya. She's on my team. Kakukushi may be an elite, but she's still a genin in rank. I see. So what's the mission? Well, we are to go to Wave and… Wave. I have friends there. This will be awesome. Yes, well anyways the mission is to kill a certain person that has been a nuisance to us. Kill? Yes Naruto, you have to understand that as ninjas sometimes we have to kill people. I understand. Good, as I was saying we are to kill. Tayuya was walking towards Orochimaru's office along with her teammate Dosu. Apparently they had a new teammate, and were leaving on a mission the next day. She got closer to the door when suddenly, what the fuck was that? I have no clue. They ran into the office to find the blonde-haired kid crying on the floor in front of Orochimaru. Surprisingly, he was bending down and trying his best to calm the boy. When he saw them he nodded them towards the chairs at the back. Tayuya and Dosu sat down and the flute player heard Orochimaru whisper something to the boy. People die Naruto, unfortunately sometimes by the hands of their own friends. Naruto looked up and both Tayuya and Dosu gasped to see black tattoo marks across his face and red fox-like eyes. Understood Orochimaru-sama. Chapter 3. Ties broken through blood. It was early in the morning and only 4 people were awake in the Hidden Sound village. They were Naruto, Dosu, Tayuya and Orochimaru. While Dosu was sharpening his blade and Tayuya was playing her flute, Naruto and his sensei were talking in private. I have decided my weapon, Lord Orochimaru. And what would that be? Claws, I've been looking through some scrolls and learned a few jutsu related to them. Kakuku, you never cease to amaze me Naruto. Oh, claws are extremely powerful and also some of the hardest weapons to learn. Thank you for the compliment sensei. I think I have something perfect for you. He went into another room and eventually came out with a set of claws. They were as big as one's hand and gleamed silver in the moonlight. They each had a seal and the symbol of sound on them. Naruto, these claws are assassination claws. They remain hidden in your cloak sleeves until battle. The way to use them is with chakra strings. Controlling each string you push and retract the claws. Also once out these claws mold onto each finger and form a link to your chakra. That's why there are a seal on each. These are dangerous to humans because the molding can leave many scars, sometimes even fingerless when taken off. What? But seeing as you have a fast healing rate thanks to your tenant's chakra you don't have to worry about it. Arigato my lord. After a few minutes Naruto was ready with his claws retracted and hidden. Dosu, Naruto, Tayuya, are you all ready? Hi. Kakuku, disperse. And with that all 4 figures vanished into the night in direction of their target wave. Kakashi woke up with a massive hangover. He looked at his clock and saw that it was only 5 in the morning. He vaguely remembered drinking a lot at a bar and fighting a midget who insulted Naruto. The gray-haired man thought about it for a second. Midget? Midget? Oh shit, that was a kid. He soon realized that his outburst gave him an even worse headache. Lord Hokage will probably not be too happy with me. This had been going on for the last week. Kakashi had been giving his students Jounin-level tasks and taught them near fatal jutsus, and then proceeded to drink until he found himself in his bed the next morning and restarting the same routine. This has to stop Kakashi. He turned his head to find his friends Kurai and Asuma looking back at him. Lord Hokage is sending you out on a solo mission. They'll go see him right away. He saw a look of disgust on Kurinai's face as she pinched her nose. No way in hell you're going before you clean up. You reek of sweat, blood and sake. Fine, but don't touch my Ika collection. We want now go. After a 2-hour cleanup Kakashi found himself in the Hokage's office waiting for his mission. Kakashi, your mission is to bring this package to the Wave Country. It is AC rank mission since you need the time alone, and this can't be done by a courier Nin. Hi. The forest leading to the bridge was quiet as 4 shadows passed through the trees. These shadows were so fast you would say they were never there. Orochimaru-sama, why are we going so fast? Because Dosu, we must finish this fast so that we can go back to Oto and train. I see. Naruto looked to his right to find Tayuya inches from him. For an hour he had tried multiple times to converse with her but it never worked. But Naruto is quite stubborn. So how do you use your flute? I mean, how does it work? Well, I shove it up your ass so that you have to shit out your mouth. Once again Naruto dropped back to be beside Dosu. Give it up, this is getting pathetic. I mean, no one has ever gotten close to her. Well, I drop, yelled Orochimaru. They all did, and about 20 shuriken flew over where they used to be. In front of them appeared 3 Kiri-nin. Each one pulled out a kunai and got into stances. Naruto, you do the honors. Sure thing, Dosu. Naruto quickly released his claws onto his hands and winced as they molded with each finger. He then lifted them over his body and performed the hand seals and yelled, Sound Wave Jutsu. He proceeded to slam both clawed hands into the ground. A shockwave of sound hit all 3 Miss Genin, instantly killing 2 of them, or so they thought. That was easy. Dosu then saw water where the bodies were before. He turned around to find all 3 shinobi attacking from behind. Shit, Naruto, get down. Dosu then took out his Zanbato, which was hidden in that weird thing he has on his back. He lifted up before planting it into the ground. The entire earth underneath them seemed to crack open as sound waves pulsed out towards the air. Sound barrier jutsu. The barrier literally destroyed everything it touched. Naruto took that time to cross his hands together, and pointing towards the Kiri ninjas. He sound blast jutsu. The Nin who was hit by the jutsu started screaming and held his head as blood started dripping from his ears. Naruto then appeared behind him and pierced his throat. The 2 other ninja were running for their lives until Tayuya started playing her flute. 2 huge hands appeared under each Nin and grabbed them with such force that they both exploded, throwing blood everywhere. The sound Nin looked at the gruesome sight before them before sighing. Very good team Kakuku. Yeah, that was great Dosu and you too Tayuya. Naruto was surprised to see that both his teammates were exhausted. He looked at Orochimaru with a confused expression. Your chakra storing capability is much larger than theirs. Naruto smiled and retracted his claws. Hey Dosu, how does your Zanbato work? It's simple, there's a hollow space going along the inside of my blade, so adding any kind of vibration to the blade like an attack I can concentrate my chakra to make the sound waves into a direct energy, kind of like your claws. The only drawback is large barriers like that require lots of chakra and tires me out fast. I see. What about you Tayuya? Growling, I summon creatures and they move according to my songs. Interesting. Orochimaru chuckled and turned his head towards the bridge that they had just reached during the battle. Something about it caught his attention. The Great Naruto Bridge. What? Look! Naruto looked at the sign and froze. He gathered up all his willpower and moved forward. Tayuya walked past him and saw from the corner of her eyes that he was crying. Suddenly a little voice inside her told her to hold him and tell him it would all be better. She stopped in her thoughts. Surely she hadn't just thought that. No, it was just her imagination. She walked faster and cursed for no reason. Orochimaru turned towards his new student and said, Naruto, it will be over soon. Inari. Diner is ready. Coming. Tazuna walked into the kitchen tired from a long day of work. Wow, I'm beat. What's cooking? Tsunami? Fish. Go figure. All three members of the family ate happily while discussing of their days when suddenly a knock came from the door. Tsunami got up and opened it to see Naruto. Both Tazuna and Inari ran into the other room to see the hero of Wave. Yo Naruto! What brings you here? Asked Tazuna smiling. His smile disappeared as he saw Tsunami slump over on the blonde's shoulder. He went pale as blood went down her back. I'm sorry, said Naruto as tears rolled down his eyes. MOM, screamed Inari as she fell to the floor. Her eyes were wide, staring at nothing. She was dead. Tazuna fell to his knees as the ninja walked towards him. Why are you doing this? You've been greedy with Gato's money, haven't you? It was more of a statement than a question. You hired Kirigakure Ninja to aid your village, haven't you? What does it matter to you? Kiri is an enemy of Oto, my village. Oh Naruto, what has happened to you? Where is that cheerful boy gone? Why did you have to take Tsunami's life? The mission is to kill both her and you and then burn this house to the ground and disappear. Kiri will get the message. What about Inari? He will tell everyone that this was the work of the Cloud Village. My god, you want to start a war in between Kiri and Cloud. I won't do it, yelled Inari. If you don't, we will return and slaughter everyone. You wouldn't. I would and I will. He kicked Inari out of the house and yelled. Sound ripple jutsu. The entire house started moving around Tazuna and soon he started vomiting blood all over the ground. His body started contorting and soon he screamed a scream that would freeze a man's soul. His body started dissolving and soon all that was left was a bloody mess. Naruto walked out of the house as it caught on fire from Orochimaru's Katan Jutsu. All Naruto wanted to do was be sick, but someone spoke and his voice filled Naruto with unthinkable terror. My god Naruto, what have you done? Chapter 4. Teacher vs. Student. My god Naruto, what have you done? Kakashi. How could you Naruto? They never hurt you in any way, and they even accepted you, yet you murder them. They joined forces with Kirigakure. We all have our enemies, but we don't attack our friends because of it. I didn't expect you to understand, Kakashi. You're just a foolish leaf Nin. So you've really broken all your ties? I have. Then you must die, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened as his old teacher attacked him with a kunai. Naruto ducked and threw a shuriken at Kakashi's leg. Expecting this, the Jounin jumped and drove his foot into Naruto's head. The blonde fell to the ground but got back up instantly, black marks covering his body. A cursed seal. Naruto! Yelled Dosu. Stay out of this, Dosu, this is my battle. As you wish. Well, Kakashi, let's see how powerful this cursed seal is. He ran towards his ex-teacher with enhanced speed. Kakashi prepared himself to attack him when, suddenly, Naruto disappeared. Kakashi looked on, confusion apparent on his face. Then he felt a powerful punch from behind. He took out another kunai and backflipped only to be grabbed in a headlock. The Jounin slashed at Naruto's throat but instead got his arm. Naruto growled and landed a punch in the copy Nin's face. He smiled in satisfaction but it disappeared as soon as he heard his voice behind him. Katan, Hosenka no Jutsu. Naruto tried to evade but was still hit by the fireball square in the back. He bit his lip to keep from howling in pain. Kakashi slowly walked over him and raised his kunai into the air. Naruto smiled as he poofed in smoke. Kakashi realized in alarm that it was only a Kage Bunshin. He turned around and grabbed Naruto's arms before he could do anything to hurt him with his metal claws. Naruto smashed his head into Kakashi's and jumped back as the grip on his arms was released. Kakashi moved his hand towards his face and revealed his Sharingan. His former student smiled. So you're going all out? I have no choice. Let's turn it up a notch then. Kakashi watched in mild fear as the black marks swirled around the blonde closed eyes. He waited hoping Naruto didn't learn how to use the cursed seal's true power. He was wrong. Naruto slowly opened his eyes to reveal blood-red slitted eyes with 9 small lines surrounding the pupils. As Kakashi gazed into his former student's eyes, he gasped as he saw himself perfectly reflected in them. He tried to move but was too captivated by his reflection. It started altering and soon the Jounin's reflection was bleeding and slowly dying. Kakashi tried to tear his eyes away but found himself completely paralyzed. Tell me, Kakashi, are you scared? How are you doing this? A mix of the Kyuubi's power and the curse seal has permitted me of releasing the Kyuubi's chakra through my eyes to show my opponents their coming demise. I've heard of this. Orochimaru taught you, didn't he? Yes, he did. Now are you ready to die? Naruto lifted his claws towards Kakashi and prepared for the final blow. Kakashi cut himself on the wrist and broke the paralyzing fear. He jumped out of the way and drop-kicked Naruto in the stomach. He then bit his thumb, made some hand seals and yelled, "Kukyos no Jutsu." Naruto's eyes widened as a large dog appeared in front of him. The dog ran towards him and bit him on his side. Naruto tried to kick the dog but failed miserably. He was once again bitten, this time on the hand, and the dog didn't let go. Naruto started sweating and tried to push the dog away. The dog bit down harder and Naruto started bleeding profusely. Damn it, let go, you stupid mutt. It's no use, Naruto. These Nikken are trained to keep a hold on their prey until it's dead. Damn you, Kakashi. I'm sorry, Naruto, but it's all over. I can't forgive you after what you've done. He prepared to plunge his kunai when, suddenly, his wrist was grabbed with such strength that it broke. Kakashi ignored the pain and looked at his attacker right in the eyes. Orochimaru. Kakashi, it's been a while. Kakuku. All this is your doing, isn't it? Kakuku. Naruto, go meet up with Dosu and Taiuya and head back to the village. But, now. Hi. As the blonde left, Kakashi felt overwhelming sadness overcome him. How could you lie to him, Orochimaru? He was an innocent child. Oh, poor Kakashi is worried for his student. Tell me, where were you when he was being beaten by the villagers? Kakuki, you were looking for Sasuke Uchiha? Well, I have given the boy a new home, friendship and proper training. You're only using him. No, this boy is too much like myself to allow himself to be used like that. He will follow me and together we will achieve our ambitions. Kakuku, I will soon find a way to allow him to completely possess the Kyuubi's chakra. You bastard, that thing can't be controlled. It's pointless to argue, Kakashi, you have more pressing matters to attend to. What? You will deliver this message to the Leaf Village. Tell Sarutobi that the Leaf Village is soon going to perish and that under no circumstance is he to cancel the upcoming Chunin exam. What? Go! And with that the snake Sannin disappeared. Kakashi slowly got up and started walking towards Konoha when he heard crying. He turned around and saw the source. I guess you'll come with me, Inari. Kabuto slowly cleaned up Orochimaru's office for the Otokage's return when, while emptying the garbage, he heard a metal cling. He pulled out the object to see a leaf Hittite. He smiled wickedly, thinking of how Naruto must have thrown it out when he got his new one. Oh, Naruto, you have no idea how useful this will be to us. He put it in his pocket, and when finished cleaning the office he went outside to see 4 figures enter the gates. Dosa seemed thoughtful, Taiuya seemed pissed, Orochimaru was happy and Naruto was expressionless. You are all dismissed, said the snake Sannin. Hi. Naruto left the temple and Taiuya did as well after waiting for the blonde to be gone. Orochimaru walked into his office and Kabuto followed him soon after. Dosa just went into his room. As Orochimaru sat down, Kabuto asked a question. So how did it go? Excellent. Everything went as planned. Everything? Yes, soon tensions will rise in Kiri since during the mission I placed a genjutsu on the entire village so all those who witnessed this massacre think it was committed by the Cloud Ninja. So when the time comes to destroy Leaf, Kiri and Cloud will be too busy to interfere. So what is left? First we must turn Suna against Leaf. And then I will infiltrate Konoha. I found Naruto's Hittite in your garbage. Excellent. Now all I need is Kakashi to deliver his message to Konoha. Kakashi. Yes, he arrived and fought Naruto, and thanks to that Naruto's curse seal was enhanced, and he used his eyes and the Kyuubi's chakra. Interesting. What about the rest of the team? Taiuya has her special technique and Dosu may be a problem. How? He uses too much chakra, so I'm thinking of giving him the melody arm. What about his Zanbato? He will keep it for more dangerous opponents. Does he know? Yes, he's the one who asked me. Alright, I must start working on plans for the Chunin exams. Good. Taiuya was walking towards the training grounds when she heard a yell. She followed the sound until she found its source. Her eyes widened as she saw Naruto surrounded by red chakra and a wasteland where there used to be trees. Damn you, Kakashi! Damn you to hell! He proceeded to punch a large rock until his hands were a bloody mess. I lost to you and had to be saved by Lord Orochimaru. I'm still weak. Taiuya chuckled and yelled. You're fucking pathetic, you know that. What did you say? Taiuya sighed and walked towards the blonde whose red chakra had dissipated. He looked at her angrily until she lifted her hand and slapped him strongly in the face. Stop fucking whining and move your ass. Train and then maybe you'll be stronger. Fucking hell. Naruto just stood speechless at her words. Taiuya sighed and started walking away when she heard, Thank you, Taiuya. She was shocked. That was the first time someone had thanked her for anything. Before she could stop it, she started blushing. Damn it, I can't blush. I don't even like this little shit. He's pathetic, weak, cute. Wait, what am I saying? What the fuck is wrong with me? Oh shit, he's staring at me with that pathetic happy look that makes me sick. Naruto looked on the confused as the girl ran off through the forest. Then, suddenly, a grin appeared on his face. Did I just make her blush? The Sandaime was briefing Sakura and Sasuke on their mission when he heard a knock on his door. Enter. Kakashi slowly walked into the office and was surprised to see his 2 students there. Over the days they had grieved and eventually Sasuke had forgiven Sakura for what she had done to Naruto. Kakashi, was your mission completed and are you feeling better now? The Hokage frowned slightly as a little boy stepped out from behind Kakashi. He was surprised and he heard Sasuke and Sakura gasp. Inari? What's he doing here, sensei? Kakashi's eyes darkened and he said, in a low voice, Tazuna and Tsunami were killed. At this Sakura started crying and Sasuke angrily said, who killed them? It was Naruto. Not a sound could be heard throughout the entire room. It almost seemed as though the silence was choking everyone. No, it can't be. I'm sorry, but I must talk to Lord Hokage now. Hi. Both his students left with Inari and soon the Hokage spoke up. What happened? And Kakashi started to tell his story. A Jounin stood lazily watching the Konoha gates when he saw a figure approaching. He jumped down and said in a serious voice, state your name. I am a ninja of the leaf and my name is Yakushi Kabuto. Go on and then. Chapter 5, Preparations. Naruto ran through a field, his eyes focused on the lone figure in front of him. He started closing in when his target threw a punch towards him. The blonde evaded, but as soon as he did he felt his vision blur. So you've finally mastered the melody arm? You didn't think it would take me that long, did you? Well, Dosu, you are pretty slow. Dosu realized his mistake as Naruto dissipated in smoke. Damn Kage Bunshin. Think fast, Dosu. Dosu threw himself to the ground as a kunai as a claw passed above him. He jumped up only to see his blonde teammate doing hand signs. Oto Genshuken no Jutsu. Dosu felt the gravity of the sound pushing against his eardrums, causing him to fall on his knees. He could barely see because of the disorientation, but he did manage to see an opening. He slammed his right arm in the ground yelling, Oto Shuha. Naruto was propelled several feet away, thus dispelling his jutsu. He quickly recovered and brought out his claws. He jumped in the air and suddenly dove towards his friend. Gosun Kuji Tatsumaki. Dosu ran for cover as spikes came twirling towards him from everywhere. He got to a tree and waited for his teammate to tire. As he predicted, the blonde fell near the tree covered in sweat. I guess I can't hold that jutsu very long, haha. No, Naruto, I guess not. Well, I can't go on anymore, so let's go back to the temple. Hi. Kakashi sighed as Sasuke fell to his knees panting. Sasuke, you have to copy my speed with the Sharingan, it's the only to learn the Chidori. Hi. Sasuke got up with a growl and ran towards his mentor with impressive speed. He lifted his left arm and started charging the technique. The blue lightning chakra surrounded his arm, and he prepared to attack when it suddenly disappeared. The raven-haired boy fell to the ground clearly spent. Kakashi sighed and thought to himself, I know it's hard, Sasuke, but you have to learn this before the Chunin exam. I hear Nin will be participating. Kakashi heard footsteps and saw Sakura walking up to him, obviously tired and with bloody fists. The good thing was that she was smiling. I did it, sensei, she said between panting breaths. You did? Yes, I can finally channel chakra into my fists to strengthen my punches. Good, you can take Sasuke back to the hospital. He exhausted all of his chakra and will need the medical attention if he wants to train tomorrow. As for you, you have the rest of the day off. Hi. As his students left, the silver-haired pulled out his little orange book thinking, what are you doing right now, Naruto? Said Genin was currently walking through the tunnels of the Otokage's temple alone since Dosu was unfortunately meeting with his childhood friend Zaku. Naruto was lost in thought when he accidentally bumped into someone. He looked up to see a purple-haired man looking at him in irritation. Watch where you're going, kid. Hey, who are you calling kid, you freak? Do you know who you're talking to, punk? I'm Sakan, one of the Sound 4. You think I give a damn? Sakan peeled out a kunai but was stopped abruptly by a white-haired man. The man had red-rimmed eyes and pale face. Restrain yourself, Sakan. Kimimaro, this doesn't concern you. You are not to touch young Uzumaki. Oh yes, says who? Lord Orochimaru. Why the hell would he say that? Because this is his new apprentice and is not to be harmed. Sakan left ranting incoherent words. Naruto stared confusedly at the man called Kimimaro. Hey, why did you help me? Because you are Lord Orochimaru's student and are not to be harmed. I see, thanks. Naruto then proceeded to run off towards the Snake Sanin's office. Upon entering, he saw the Otokage smiling evilly at a document he was reading. Ah, Naruto, you came just in time. For what? Well, I wanted to tell you that I'm going to be gone for quite a while, so I have to give you a scroll for your training. Where are you going? To Sunagekira. I have a meeting with the Kazekage Kukuku. About what? The upcoming Chunin exams in which you will be taking part. Yada! Don't celebrate yet, Naruto. I have to warn you, it will be in Konoha. What? Kukuku, are you ready to get revenge on those bastards for what they did to you? Revenge? Yes, we are going to destroy them during the exams. Can I count on you? Hi, Lord Orochimaru. Good, you can go now. Hi. The Sandaime Hokage had just finished his paperwork and left his tower. He ascended the steps of a large building to get to the balcony beneath the Hokage monuments. He stared at each one and sighed as he thought of Kakashi's report. Oh, Naruto, why did you have to do this? I guess we should have been more respectful towards him. The Hokage turned to see Irika standing behind him. The Chunin was smiling, but it was obvious that he had been crying. Out of everyone, he knew Irika did truly care for the boy. I still have trouble believing it myself, Lord Hokage. It just doesn't seem normal without him around. No more pranks, no more laughing, and plus all the villagers are taking it as a celebration. I should have known they would do something like this. Sadly, there's nothing I can do about it, plus I have Konohamaru locked away in his room crying his heart out. I hear they have a similar problem with Hinata Hyuga. The Hokage could not help a small chuckle at that. He truly was clueless when it came to girls. Maybe Orochimaru has advice for him. The two men shared a small laugh before returning to their jobs. Naruto was working on his techniques in the temple training room. He knew it was specifically made for the Sound 5 and therefore also knew that it would piss off that bastard Sakan. He kept working when he heard a yell from behind him. Hey, what the hell are you doing in our dojo? Naruto turned to see a weird man with 4 arms. I don't see your name on it. What did you say, brat? Naruto had to jump backwards to avoid a weird bullet of spider web. He gritted his teeth as the spider-like man jumped towards him with the full intent to kill. He knew Kimimaro wouldn't be there to save him this time. He looked up to the viewing balcony and saw Tayuya. She looked bored. He knew she wouldn't help him even if he did make her blush before. He felt sudden pain as a kunai stabbed him in the hand he put up to protect himself. He gasped as the pain swept through his arm. He couldn't lose to him. Not with Tayuya watching. Besides, he was Orochimaru's student. He couldn't lose. He wouldn't. Kidomaru's eyes widened as the boy before him started being covered with black markings. Cursed seal. Naruto's eyes started turning red and he brought out his claws. His hand started searing as it healed. When he finally spoke, his voice inflicted terror to everyone who could hear him. Do you honestly think you can beat me like that? What the hell? It seems I'll have to teach you some manners. Wah, bring it on, fucker. Naruto ran towards Kidomaru and quickly appeared behind him. He struck him with one of his claws. He then proceeded to do hand seals and yell, Ketadamashi Huku. Naruto let out a howl that caused the entire temple to shake. Kidomaru felt as if his senses were being torn apart, and soon when his body couldn't take it anymore he fell to the ground, unconscious, in a puddle of his own blood. Naruto grinned a maniacal smile at the dying man before him. As he was about to kill him when he heard a voice. Naruto, you have done very well, but I'm afraid to say that he must remain alive. Lord Orochimaru? Yes, I must say I'm quite impressed at you being able to tame the chakra of your tenant and the cursed seal and still maintain some control over yourself. I'm sorry about nearly losing control. Don't worry, the fool needed to learn his place. Hi. As Orochimaru's medics healed the fallen Kidomaru, Tayuya watched in fascination. That boy is incredible. Such power, such bloodlust, and yet such control. I misjudged him. But especially that look he gave me before, as if he was trying to prove something to me. He was smiling. I felt all hot, and was it lust I felt? I have to know something. Orochimaru-sama, what was that? It was incredible. He beat him so easily. Kakuka, now do you see? I told you this boy has great potential. He will soon become more powerful than you, Jirubu, Sakan, and even you, Kimimaro. Even me. Yes, but not for a while. I have decided that after your death he will be entitled to leader of the Sound 5. Hi. Orochimaru walked towards the gates of his village with Sakan, Jirubu, and Kimimaro. Be ready, you are to assist me in the murder of the Kazekage Kukuku. Hi. Naruto walked through the halls of the temple when he saw Tayuya standing in the corridor. He was about to walk past her, when she pinned him against the wall, a disturbing smile on her face, though a very seductive one. That smile you gave me in your battle, what was that expression? I'm not sure, it felt right at the moment. I must know, fuck, I have to know. Before he could reply, Naruto felt her soft lips press against his. Getting over his original shock, Naruto returned the kiss lustfully. Soon he pushed his tongue inside her mouth, and started wrestling their tongues for dominance. In the heat of the moment, Naruto had picked her up in his arms, and was pressing his body against hers. Tayuya's fingers were intertwined in his hair as his were caressing her face. After what seemed like eternity, they both stopped to catch their breath. It only took a few seconds for what they had done to register in their minds. Holy fuck, what the fuck? I never wanted to. Me neither. I am sorry Eve got to go. Fuck. Me too. They both bolted down the corridors in opposite directions, thinking along the same lines. That was a mistake. She would never like me that way. I let my lust take over, but it will never fucking happen again. I'll just tell her another time I didn't mean to. He has to fucking understand it was a mistake. Chapter 6, Demon's Gift. In the desert, not too far from Sunagakure, the sound of fighting could be heard. If there were anyone passing by at this particular moment, they would have seen the leader of Suna on his knees in front of a snake-like man. Damn you, Orochimaru! Kakuku, it seems the leader of the sand village isn't as strong as he lets on. Damn, why? Blood splashed all over the sand as the snake Sennin cleaved the Kazekage's head off. As Orochimaru started walking towards Suna, he turned his head to his followers. Jirobo, Sakan, Kimimaro, Kidomaru, you are going to take the appearance of the Kazekage's guards. Hi. Once we are done in Suna, I shall return to Oto while one of you impersonates the Kazekage. Hi, said blonde Gennin, was currently trying to get the events of the previous day out of his head. He just couldn't stop replaying that kiss over and over in his head. He sighed and decided to go train to take his mind of things. Naruto pulled out the scroll that Orochimaru gave him in order to get ready for the Chunin exams. He studied it silently for hours until he heard footsteps behind him. He turned expecting to find Dosu, but instead found the exact face he was trying to forget. Tayuya, listen kid, I want you to forget about what happened last night. Yes sure. And also, she walked near to him and moved her face very near to his ear. Also, if you ever fucking tell anyone what happened, I will rip your most precious possession off. Naruto shivered as she walked away. Somehow, he didn't think she was lying. He sighed and started reading the scroll when he suddenly started feeling tremendous pain in his stomach. He started breathing heavily as his heart started to speed up. The blonde clutched his stomach and fell to the ground, closing his eyes from the pain. When he opened them up again, he was in a sewer. He got up and ran towards an odd glow. He entered a strange room. It was huge and had a gate. Upon the gate was a paper with the kanji for seal. Naruto saw a red glow beyond the gate and wondered out loud, "What the hell, where am I? Welcome, child. Who's there? What's going on?" Naruto froze and fell to his knees as the large figure of a fox came to the gate. "Kyubi. Yes, Uzumaki. I am the great Kyubi no Yoko, your tenant. What the hell do you want?" I wanted to congratulate you on using my power without losing control." Why? Well, you see, I was worried you would be weak, so I decided to let you try to tap into my power on your own. I was quite impressed when you did. Why aren't trying to kill me? That's simple. You are no longer a resident of Konoha, therefore I have no reason to for now. Thanks, I guess. So why am I here? I want to give you a gift for leaving that damn village and using my power. What do you mean? What kind of gift? You'll see now. Come through the gate. Can I trust you? Yes, now come, I'm waiting. Naruto slowly started walking towards the gate that kept the Kyubi sealed away. When he was right in front of it, he could hardly breathe. It was as if the Kyubi's power was choking him. Enter. When he did, Naruto felt the water beneath him start to boil. He looked up confusedly, and saw a weird orb of red chakra floating before him. He reached out with his left hand. Suddenly the ball shot into his arm, spraying blood all over the cage. Do not fight the power, boy, let it flow within you. I will stop it when you have enough. Naruto watched in horror through his tears as his arm was slowly being ripped to shreds. When the orb reached his shoulder, it disappeared, leaving a bloody mess. When you go back to your world you will feel worse pain, but trust me when I tell you it is worth it. Tayuya was slowly walking through the forest towards the village when she heard a scream coming from where she had left her blonde teammate. She ignored it until she heard another. Growing irritated and perhaps a bit worried, she wouldn't admit it, she ran back to the clearing where she left Naruto. When she arrived at the scene, she gasped in horror at the sight. There in front of her was Naruto lying in a bloody mess with his left arm torn to shreds. Before she knew what she was doing, she picked him up and ran towards the temple. He was slowly losing consciousness. "Hey kid, don't you dare pass out." "Tayuya? Yeah, it's me, so you better stay fucking awake, got that?" When his head lolled to its side she screamed, "Naruto! Wake the fuck up! Now!" Naruto's eyes opened slightly and were greeted by the angry yet fearful eyes of Tayuya. When she finally arrived at the temple, Tayuya yelled for a medic. When one came he looked in horror at the blonde. "My god, what the hell happened? How should I know? I left him for like 5 minutes and I heard him scream. When I found him he was like this. Damn, we need to proceed quickly if we don't want to die." "What? Orochimaru-sama will have our heads if something happens to this boy." They then ran to the medical rooms. Said Sannin was currently running at full speed towards the Sound Village. He wasn't very far when he felt Naruto's curse seal being pushed back. It cannot be. Could the Kyubi have actually given him a demon's gift? If so, then Naruto will be much stronger than before. Kukuku. When the Otokage arrived at the gates of the Sound Village, it was immediately opened, and he ran towards his temple. When he reached the medical facilities he saw Naruto in a pool of blood. But it was not his own. Orochimaru looked down at a headless medic Nin and a cowering Tayuya. When Naruto saw him he fell to his knees and started sobbing. Orochimaru understood what happened and kneeled in front of the blonde. "Naruto? How could I killed him, I slaughtered. You did nothing wrong. You just unleashed your new power." "But Orochimaru-sama, he was a necessary sacrifice. Now you have unlocked true power. Go rest and clean up and buy some new clothes. We will talk after." When Naruto slowly walked out of the door, Orochimaru turned to Tayuya. "Tayuya, I understand what you have seen, but you must not judge Naruto." "But what happened?" "Let me tell you a bit about Naruto's origins." Chidori. A large blast was heard coming from the training grounds in the Leaf Village. When the smoke cleared, Sasuke was on his knees panting. Behind him stood the copy Nin Kakashi. "Very good, Sasuke, you have finally mastered the Chidori. It seems your limit is at 2 shots. Whatever you do, never do more than that. What happens if I try a third?" "The third will not happen and you'll lose all of your chakra. Also, the backlash could kill you. Never attempt it, understood?" "Hi, alright, we meet here tomorrow with Sakura and a new teammate." "We don't need a new." "Really? Then how do you plan on going through the Chunin exams?" "I'm sorry, Sasuke, we have no choice." "Hi." As Kakashi started walking back towards Konoha he pulled out his orange book but found himself unable to concentrate on it. He sighed and put it away. "Naruto, what are you doing right now?" "The Kyubi." "Yes, Tayuya, but when it was sealed into him Naruto was but a baby. Sadly those damn villagers saw him as a demon and attacked him, beat him, tried to kill him. Those bastards." "Kakuki, yes, they were horrible, that's why I brought Naruto here." "So can I trust you not to look at Naruto like he was a demon?" "Hi, Kakuki, you may go." As she left his office, Orochimaru thought about what kind of training he could put Naruto through. He then started working on some paperwork thinking, Kukuku only a matter of time until the leaf destruction. He then stopped on a certain document which had a name on it, Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto woke up the next morning and sighed in relief at the fact that there was no pain in his arm anymore. He went into his bathroom to take a shower. When he passed his mirror he gasped, "My arm, it's okay." Hey wait, that wasn't like that before. Naruto's arm had a red kanji on his arm, which said power. He assumed the Kyuubi or Orochimaru would explain later. After showering he put on an old pair of training clothes and went to buy some new clothes. When he was done he was wearing loose black pants, a red short-sleeved shirt, and a black coat that went to his waist, a normal coat. When he walked into Orochimaru's office, the Sannin looked at him and smiled. "How are you feeling, Naruto?" "Better, but can you explain this to me?" Orochimaru smirked when he saw the red kanji. He immediately remembered the boy, Gaara, and how he had the kanji for love. Kukuku, it is something that describes you. The Kyuubi gave it to you. It means that you have a yearning for power. Why did he give it to me? It will let you access more of his chakra at your own will. I see, in that way I'll be stronger and will be able to strengthen my sound jutsu. Yes, you will. Naruto, I wanted to tell you that in 1 month the Chunin exams will take place and we will go to Konoha. Nani? Kukuku, don't worry, they cannot harm you since you are officially a Oto ninja. Yes, but, Naruto, I want the real reason we are going to Konoha apart from the Chunin exams is to destroy the Leaf Village along with Suna. Can I count on you? Hi Lord Orochimaru, you can. Excellent, we will start training tomorrow. Hi. As Naruto walked out of the office, Orochimaru chuckled when he saw a malicious grin on his face. Chapter 7, Chunin Exams. Arrival to Konoha. 3 figures walked towards the Konoha at a slow pace. The one on the right had his face covered in bandages revealing only his left eye. The person on the left was a girl with long pink hair. She had a strange purple bow around her waist. The figure in the middle had a black hood covering his head and was wearing a smaller purple bow around his waist. They were all wearing sound headbands. When they reached the gates of Konoha they presented their Chunin exam passes and invitations. The guards nodded and let them in. Once they were inside, the one in the middle started shaking. The bandaged boy turned towards him and asked, "Hey Naruto, you okay?" His eye widened seeing that Naruto had an evil grin and was chuckling softly. "Yes Dosu, I'm quite alright. I'm actually quite excited." They kept until they heard a scream. When they turned the corner they saw a young boy being held by a Sannin. There was a pink-haired girl and a raven-haired boy talking to the Sannin whose name they overheard to be Kankuro. Before Kankuro could hit the young boy, Naruto spoke up, "Keep your strength for the exam, San Ninja." Everybody turned towards him and looked at him in confusion. He still has his hood on. Kankuro got an angry expression and yelled, "Stay out of this, Oto." His fist went towards the young boy's face, but before anyone could blink the hooded Oto Nin appeared next to him and grabbed his wrist. Everybody winced at the cracking noise. Suddenly a blonde-haired girl came towards them with her fan out. She was about to attack when a voice stopped her dead in her tracks. "Kankuro, Temari, that's enough." "Gaara, hi, we should leave, but don't think you'll forget this kid." When they walked away, Gaara quickly glanced back at Naruto. He smiled with anticipation, thinking of the fight to come. When they were out of view, Naruto and his teammates started to leave when a lazy-looking Jounin appeared behind them. When he spoke, Naruto stopped. "Thank you for helping my students and Konohamaru, but may I know your names?" "Tayuya, Dosu, and you?" Naruto turned around and slowly looked into Kakashi's eye. Kakashi looked into the boy's eyes in confusion and slowly started seeing himself reflected in them. He saw himself bleeding and dying. It was a sight he had witnessed before. It cannot be. Naruto removed his hood and grinned evilly. "Uzumaki Naruto." Both Sakura and Sasuke cried out, and Konohamaru ran towards him to engulf him in a big hug. Naruto's grin widened, and what he did next shocked everyone. He kicked Konohamaru in the stomach, sending him flying into a fence. "I don't touch filth." Sakura fell to her knees and cried out, "Naruto, what's wrong with you?" Naruto suddenly appeared in front of her and smiled softly as he placed his hand on her cheek. "Sakura-chan." His smile widened to a sick grin, and he slapped her hard. "That's Naruto-san to you, bitch." He then smirked as he walked away. Before anyone could say anything, he was gone with his team. Kakashi felt he could move again and went to pick up Konohamaru. Sasuke started shaking and slowly helped Sakura get up. Sakura started crying and soon enough fell into her raven-haired teammate's arms. Soon enough she was sobbing and Sasuke just held her with an angry look. He soon yelled as he too started crying and fell to his knees with Sakura. Kakashi stood there with a saddened look. "Naruto." Further down the streets of Konoha, Dosu turned to his blonde teammate. "You okay?" "Hee, I am now." "Hey, by the way, I know of a pretty good ramen stand we could eat at." Tayuya actually smirked at this comment. "Ha, some things never change." By the way, that was some pretty good acting back there, shitface. Naruto's expression turned serious. "First of all, I wasn't acting. Second of all, watch your language. And what makes you think you can fucking tell me what TOD, you little shitface?" "Well, maybe the fact that I'm the boss." Tayuya proceeded to punch Naruto over the head and yell more insults. Dosu chuckled and decided to speak up without realizing the mistake. "Why don't you guys chill out?" Both his teammates turned towards him and proceeded to yell in unison. "What did you say?" Suddenly all their eyes widened and they spun around and they each grabbed 3 shinobi who were sneaking up on them. They then proceeded to pull out kunai and put them at the attackers' necks. The one being held by Naruto spoke. How did you know? Naruto's evil smile returned as he softly slid the kunai along the man's neck. The man stiffened as blood started to come out of the paper-cut style wound. Naruto spoke softly. We could smell the stench of pigs. Damn you, demon! Naruto growled and started beating the guy to a near-death state. The blonde Otonin then spat on the man's face. If you go crying to authorities, I will find you. The man nodded painfully and was carried away by his released companions. Taiya laughed and said, We should go meet our friend. Naruto and Dosa nodded and all three left the spot. Hokage-sama, Kakashi come and I wanted to what's happened to Konohamaru? He was injured by Oto Genin. What? Kakashi proceeded to tell the Sandane what happened. Naruto did this? Hi, then I shall not have him sent out of the village. What? This is an opportunity to find out what Orochimaru is planning. I understand. Kakashi, I want you to bring your team's new member to them. Hi. When Kakashi was out of the office, Sarutobi sighed and removed his hat. He then got up, picked up Konohamaru and brought him to his room. When he was done, the Hokage walked out to his balcony and looked at the monuments. You're always one step ahead of me, Orochimaru. Sakura and Sasuke were slowly getting over what happened and were now determined to convince Naruto to come back. Their heads went up at the sound of twigs breaking. They saw their sensei walking towards them with a boy their age. He had brown hair and green eyes. He was wearing black shorts and a loose gray shirt. Over it he had a black combat vest. Kakashi looked as if he was smiling and spoke. Sasuke, Sakura, this is your new teammate, Koichi Namizaku. He will be with you during the Chunin exams tomorrow. Could you introduce yourself, Koichi? The boy smiled and nodded. Hi, I am Koichi Namizaku. I like training in Suiton techniques and meditating. I dislike people who are overconfident. My goal is to become an elite Umbu Black Ops shinobi and to meet the woman of my dreams. Sasuke and Sakura smiled and nodded. I'm Sakura and I hope we'll get along well. I'm Sasuke. Well team, now that that's settled, I suggest you go and get ready and rested for tomorrow. Be at the location at 10 a.m. sharp. Hi. Once they were all gone, Kakashi sighed and sat against a tree thinking over the events of the day. He then pulled out his one true comfort in the world, Ika paradise. Perverted giggles could soon be heard throughout the entire forest. It was night in the city of Konoha and many people were sleeping. In a dark corner of the city 4 people were talking about something in hushed voices. The moon shone over Naruto, Dosu and Tayuya as they all grinned at what they had just been told. So we will destroy Konoha during the finals of the Chunin exams? Perfect. We will succeed in this mission. Yeah, these fucking bastards will learn their place. Very good, now return to the hotel and prepare for tomorrow. Hi, Kabuto-san. When they were all gone, Kabuto smirked. He knew for a fact that they would succeed. They were, after all, Orochimaru's students. The sound spy was about to leave when he felt a hand on his shoulder. Who goes there? Kakuka, no need to worry, Kabuto. Orochimaru-sama. Kakuka, everything is going as planned? Hi. Kakuka, very well done. I guess I should return to my duties as Kazekage. The following morning at 9, Naruto and his team were already in the exam waiting room. They watched closely as shinobi from different villages came in. Soon enough it was 5 minutes to 10 and Naruto was observing as the rookie 9 were talking to Kabuto. He then heard his cue. Otonin are pretty weak. Naruto ran across the room and placed his hands on Kabuto's ears. Oto Kaiakai. Kabuto felt his head start spinning and soon started shaking and vomiting a bit as everything around him sounded distorted. Naruto smirked, knowing it was mostly an act. He then turned around at the sound of gasps. His evil trademark grin returned as all his former allies looked at him. The first to speak was Kiba. Hey, what the hell you doing here, traitor? Losers like you shouldn't play in ninja affairs. Is that a challenge, Kiba? You bet it is, you bastard. Kiba was about to run towards the blonde when he felt a kunai against his neck. His eyes widened as he saw Naruto behind him. You know, Kiba, it's been a while since I tasted fresh blood. Kiba was now downright scared. Before anyone could say anything else, a loud voice was heard. They all looked towards a scarred man. I'm Ibiki, your proctor for the first part of the exam. There will be no fighting while I'm around. Naruto shrugged as he returned to his teammate, leaving a shocked rookie 9. Dosu chuckled and Tayuya mimicked Naruto's smirk. The room where the written exam was taking place was quiet apart from the fidgeting of the nervous genin. Some had already grasped the fact that they had to cheat to pass. Gaara had his third eye, Niji Hyuga had his Byakugan, Ino had her mind transfer technique, and Dosu was using his distinct hearing. As for Naruto, well, he was quietly holding his neighbor's wrist, forcing him to push his sheet towards Naruto so that he could copy. Ibiki was the only person to hear the distinct cracking noise. He then watched in interest as the blonde sound genin was breaking the neighbor's wrist. Ibiki suddenly realized that it was one of the Chunin with all the answers. Soon Ibiki announced the rules for the 10th question, and many genin were giving up until someone stood up and yelled, "There's no way I, Koichi Namizaku, will give up." Ibiki smiled as others seemed to be inspired by the outburst, and soon nobody else quit. You all pass. After many outbursts and a simple explanation, everyone sighed. It was short-lived, however, as a window broke and a purple-haired woman crashed in, yelling, "All right, you runts. Ibiki might be getting soft for leaving so many, or they're just very good. Whatever, by the time I'm done you'll be down by half. Now follow me to the forest of death." After signing consent forms and getting their earth or heaven scrolls, everyone went to their respective entry gates. Anko then yelled, "Ready? Begin!" Naruto and his teammates started running through the forest. Naruto then said, "Our target Sasuke Uchiha." Chapter 8, Old Scars. Naruto, Tayuya and Dosu were running quickly through the forest of death. They were all prepared for their mission to kill Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto couldn't help but grin at the opportunity he was being given. Killing Sasuke would mean breaking his most important tie to Konoha. He would be free at last. The blonde genin was taken out of his thoughts when Dosu spoke up. "Are you sure you want to go through with your plan, Naruto?" "Yes, I will go alone and confront Team 7. "Fine, but if it becomes too much, we're coming in." Tayuya had a thoughtful look on her face. She decided to voice the question that had been nagging at her. "Hey Uzumaki, I know you lived in Konoha, but how do you know this team?" "Hee, they were my old squad." "What the fuck?" "Listen Tayuya, I'd rather not talk about old ties. Besides, I have you and Dosu as my friends." "He considers me a friend?" Dosu smiled through his bandages and spoke up again. "Hey Naruto, is it true you got rid of your claws?" "Hi. Orochimaru-sama said that they would soon grow useless because of my tenet." "I see, did you choose a new weapon?" Naruto grinned and said, "Maybe." Naruto's grin vanished when he felt two similar chakra signatures up ahead. He halted his team. "Dosu, Tayuya, I want you to stay out of view. I get the feeling that if I need your support, it will have to be quick and effective." "A sneak attack?" "Yeah, alright, but don't think we won't be watching." "Hee, alright." With that, Naruto split apart from his team and started running towards his target. "Prepare yourself, Sasuke." Sasuke chuckled lightly as his cherry blossom teammate paced in the clearing they were standing in. "Sakura, pacing won't change anything." "I know, but Koichi said he'd only be gone for an hour, and now he's 30 minutes late. Maybe he found a scroll." "Well, he better hurry it up." Sasuke looked at Sakura and smirked. When he turned around, he started walking towards a tree. Suddenly, he stopped and his smirk disappeared. He turned back towards Sakura, who was looking at him in confusion, and saw what was wrong in the view before him. There was a confused Sakura, and behind her was a blonde-haired sound shinobi. "Nah, Naruto!" Sakura's eyes widened and she slowly turned her head. She froze at the sight of her old teammate. Sasuke quickly ran in between them as he saw a kunai flying towards a frozen Sakura. He blocked it with his own and yelled, "Sakura! Move!" He was bewildered when he saw that she was gazing into Naruto's eyes. Then, he remembered what Kakashi had told him. Flashback. "What is it you wanted to tell me, Kakashi-sensei? If you fight with Naruto, don't look directly into his eyes." "Why not? He has a strong ability that permits him to use fear to paralyze his foes. It's used through eye contact." And flashback. "Sakura, look away. She can't, Sasuke, she's too weak to comprehend what's happening to her. She will lose consciousness soon." "Naruto, why are you here?" 2. Naruto appeared behind Sasuke with a kunai to his throat. "Kill you!" Sasuke kawarmied and got into a fighting stance. "I guess I have no choice then to fight you, Naruto." "Guess not." Naruto ran towards Sasuke and aimed his fist towards his face. The Uchiha blocked it and thrust his knee into the blonde's gut. Naruto recovered quickly and hit his old teammate in the face. He then proceeded to kick him in the chest, effectively sending Sasuke into a tree. When he got back up, Sasuke back flipped into the air and started doing hand seals. When he was done, he yelled, "Katan, Hosenka no Jutsu." Seeing the many fireballs, Naruto did his own seals and hit his palms together. "Oto Shihiki no Jutsu." Sasuke growled as he heard the sound of a barrier, which was stopping his attack. He landed behind Naruto and tried to elbow him in the head. Said blonde genin crouched and kicked him in the face. When Sasuke went flying, Naruto started concentrating and going through more seals. When he opened his eyes, he saw Sasuke running towards him with a kunai. Naruto smirked. He finished his hand seals. "Kaze-tama no Jutsu." Sasuke's, realizing the danger, tried to evade. Unfortunately for him, the strong blast of wind cut the side of his arm. The raven-haired boy cried out in pain as blood sprayed over him. The cut was very deep and rendered his left arm useless. Before he could move again, he heard it again. "Kaze-tama no Jutsu." Sasuke fell to the ground as his leg started bleeding frightening amounts. He could only look up as Naruto approached him. The blonde had an evil grin and placed his hands on Sasuke's head. "Goodbye, team." "Naruto, please don't." "Oto Deb." Suddenly, Naruto stopped his jutsu and jumped backwards. Sasuke lost consciousness when he saw someone stand in between him and Naruto. Said blonde genin growled and asked, "Who the hell are you?" "Koichi Nimizaku." Orochimaru was running through the forest of death in his fake grass ninja identity. As he passed on branches, he couldn't help but smirk at how the Chunin exam was going. "Kukuku, just like I planned. I doubt Naruto will kill Sasuke. He will beat him but not kill him. He wants to fight him again in front of his village. A striking blow to Konoha." Suddenly, Orochimaru stopped moving. His smile vanished and he asked, "Kabuto, why are you following me?" Kabuto came out of the trees with a disturbed look. Orochimaru sighed and said, "Well, what is so important that you couldn't wait?" "I think that we may have a slight problem. It appears the new member of Team 7 has a history with Uzumaki." "Explain." "If this kid remembers Naruto, then it might be almost impossible for him not to release the Kyuubi's chakra." Kabuto, do you think I care if the fox's chakra is released?" "Out here no one will know." "I wouldn't count on that." "What is it now?" "Jiraiya." Kakuka, let me handle him. Hi, Orochimaru-sama. Naruto looked at the newcomer with mild interest. Listen, I don't know who you are, but I suggest you beat it. Koichi let out a small chuckle. So, you don't remember me, Uzumaki? Should I? Well, maybe it will come back to you. Before Naruto could reply, Koichi started running towards him, making hand seals. Suetun, Mizu Kabushi no Jutsu. Naruto was hit straight in the chest with the fist, and felt the water's pressure pushing him violently into a tree. When he was about to get up, the blonde was hit in the jaw with another fist. Koichi smirked. Well, it seems like you're not as tough as you make it look. Do you still not remember me? Well, maybe this will remind you. Kinin and Kai no Jutsu. Naruto felt as if he were drowning and suddenly memories returned to him. Flashback. A 6-year-old Naruto was running away from an angry man. The man had a long broadsword. Naruto soon ran out of breath and fell to his knees. Please leave me alone. You damn demon, you took her away from me, left me with my son. I swear I didn't do anything. The boy was now sobbing frantically. Stupid fool, demons don't cry. The man lifted his broadsword and prepared to cleave Naruto's head off. Naruto closed his eyes in anticipation of the blow. When it didn't come, he opened one eye and screamed at what he saw. His own arm was through the man's chest. The boy started crying, but suddenly heard a voice. It's alright, child, no harm will come to you from this man. Who are you? Someday you will understand. Naruto's vision slowly started blurring, but not before he saw a young boy with brown hair, holding the man with tears in his angry eyes. End flashback. Naruto quickly woke up screaming. He was shaking when he saw Koichi looking at him with that same angry look. Then, it dawned on him he probably blocked out the memory, and this boy was the son of that man. Said boy pulled out a broadsword and yelled, "This is revenge, demon!" Naruto did not speak. He looked at the ground and let his hair cover his face. Koichi started walking towards him and thunder could be heard in the gray sky above them. Well, demon, are you too scared to fight? Naruto slowly lifted his head, and the sight frightened Koichi. Naruto's whisker marks were darker and extended to his neck. His eyes were red and his left arm was covered in weird black markings. Koichi trembled as the boy before him grinned madly. Time to die, Nimizako! Koichi yelled in rage and ran towards Naruto with his blade extended. Naruto growled and pulled out a black katana with a red bandage around the handle. He got into a stance and attempted to strike his opponent's right leg. Koichi dodged with a jump and brought down the broadsword above the blonde's head. Said blonde proceeded to block with his own blade and kick the leaf genin in the stomach. Koichi twisted around and cut Naruto's chest. Naruto quickly recovered thanks to the Kyuubi's healing ability. He then crouched down and cut Koichi's foot. The leaf nin had a pained expression but didn't scream. Instead, he pierced Naruto's stomach. Naruto slowly looked down at the gaping hole in his gut. Blood was flowing out, and he fell to his knees. He coughed out more blood and slowly started feeling weaker and weaker. He soon came to the only conclusion possible. He was dying and not even the Kyuubi could stop it. Koichi watched the dying boy and laughed. He saw the boy become human again but didn't care his father was avenged. Naruto couldn't even feel the tears falling from his face. He whispered in a barely inaudible voice. "Fo, forgive me, Orochimaru sa. Time seemed to stand still for Tayuya. 1 minute Naruto was winning, the next he was dying. She didn't understand why, but she felt as if her heart was being torn apart. She had no idea what it was, but the more she saw Naruto suffering, the more the pain was intense. Suddenly, in a flash, memories came back to her. Naruto's attempts of conversation, his kind words, his lonely look and the kiss. She screamed out as tears rolled down her eyes. Naruto! Dosu didn't stop her from running towards their teammate. He was in a state of uncontrollable rage. He pulled out his hidden Zanbato and ran towards the brown-haired leaf nin. Koichi turned his head at the scream and saw a girl running towards Naruto. He was about to intercept when he saw a flash of metal. He quickly jumped out of the way as Dosu's Zanbato crashed into the ground, effectively making it shake. Even though the boy was wearing bandages over his face, Koichi could see the look of rage in the boy's eyes. Dosu didn't even bother grab his sword, he just ran towards Koichi. The brown-haired boy brought up his sword in a defensive stance, but it was just swatted away by Dosu's melody arm. Koichi started sweating. He had used up a lot of energy in the last battle, but that didn't mean he was unable to fight. He smirked and started doing seals. At the same time Dosu started doing his own seals. Suetun, Mizu Kabushi no Jutsu, Oto Ashi Kabushi no Jutsu. Their fists met, causing a wave of energy to flow through the clearing. They both fought for dominance, but neither of them could get it. Not far away, Tayuya was holding Naruto in her arms. "Come on, shithead. Wake up." Naruto didn't answer. Tayuya started sobbing as she yelled, "Please Naruto, come back." There was still no response. She soon realized that Dosu wasn't going to be able to hold off the leaf ninja much longer. "Naruto, I need you. Please come back." Naruto, Chapter 9 Unleashed. Naruto slowly woke up from a dreamless sleep. He felt cold water around his head. When he opened his eyes, he realized that he was in a sewer. He slowly started walking towards a low growling noise. When he came into a large room and saw a large gate with the kanji for seal on it, memories flowed through his mind. Defeating Sasuke, Koichi Nimizaku, the sword wound and Tayuya's scream. In sudden fear, Naruto yelled out, "Kyuubi!" Where are you? The blonde ninja heard another low growling noise coming from beyond the gate. Having no other idea, Naruto crossed the gate and found the source. Before him was the great Kyubi, lying on the ground with a vile purple liquid oozing out from his stomach. Kai Kyubi? The demon fox opened his eyes and, after several attempts, managed to speak. Good timing, boy. What the hell is happening to you? That damn human, the Nimizaka brat, he had a demon slayer. What's a duh? A demon slayer is a weapon forged by a poison user. Poison users were common 12 years ago before I killed them. You mean when you attacked Konoha? Yes, it's possible the sword was made with a strong poison, but usually I would have had no problem healing it. But then why are you affected? Because you got stabbed in the seal. Which in turn completely fucked it up and I got poisoned too. Well, it's not my fault. At this the Kyubi managed to smirk. Whatever the reason, there is a way to survive this. What is it? This is your body, so you can use the cursed seal that the snake gave you to overpower the poison. How do I do that? You must use as much power as you can and place your palm on my stomach. The power should release my chakra. Hi, you have to understand that there are risks involved. When my chakra is released, it will enter your body and fight the cursed seal. There is no way of knowing what the effects will be. There is no other way. If I don't try, then we will die and I will have failed Orochimaru-sama and my teammates. Then prepare yourself. Naruto activated the cursed seal and felt the markings cover his body. He raised his left palm and approached the Kyubi. It took all his willpower to not turn away when he saw the purple marks covering his stomach. That's where the poison affected him the most. The genin placed his hand on the wound and powered up the cursed seal. The Kyubi felt the power absorbing the poison, and when it was all gone, the chakra came out like through a broken floodgate. Naruto cried out as the crimson chakra merged with the active cursed seal. He tried to push it back, but that only served to strengthen the power. He could hardly take it anymore, but something caught his attention. It was faint, but it was there. Naruto! I need you! Naruto! Tayuya! Naruto pushed as much chakra into the seal as possible and felt consciousness claim him. Tayuya was in shock. She saw Dosa slump down and knew he was knocked out. She slowly reached for her flute but was stopped when Koichi appeared and kicked her in the ribs. She rolled into a tree and coughed. Koichi smiled and swallowed a soldier pill. The leaf Nin then walked up to the redhead and grabbed her by her hair. Well, I'm not a fan of hurting girls, but I'll make an exception for you. She spat in his face and kneed him in the gut. Koichi growled and slammed her head against his knee. Tayuya held back a cry and let the blood go down her face. She tried to talk but was met with a fist in the jaw. Not letting go, Koichi threw her into a tree. He was about to attack her again when he felt it. The brown-haired boy turned around and looked in front of him. He gasped when he saw Naruto slowly getting up. He was covered in black markings from the cursed seal. Koichi felt a chill go down his spine. Why you? Ho how? I poisoned the seal. Naruto simply ignored him and walked towards Tayuya. When he saw her unconscious form, he growled. Did you do this to her? Koichi hardly heard the blonde ninja, too absorbed in his thoughts. I said, did you hurt her? Yeah, I did. I beat you once and I can do it again. Naruto suddenly felt anger growing inside his heart. You did this to Tayuya. She was pathetic. Haha. Naruto heard a voice in his mind drowning out everything else. You desire power, use what has been given to you and unlock the true strength of the cursed seal. Naruto gave in and let the curse take over. He soon felt his whole body changing. Koichi watched on in awe as purple smoke surrounded Naruto's body. After a few minutes, the smoke cleared, leaving a completely different Naruto. His left arm was that of a fox, as were his legs. His right arm was purple and seemed to have scales like a snake's skin. The left side of his face was covered with 3 long whisker marks and some orange fur. The right side was again purple and snake-like with 3 small black marks. He had longer teeth, 2 long fox ears and silver hair. His most frightening feature was his black eyes and blood-red pupils. Behind him he had 2 tails, 1 orange fox tail and 1 purple snake tail. Naruto licked his lips with his now long tongue and turned his head towards the frozen leaf ninja. His evil grin widened and in an instant he was behind Koichi. So Namizaku, any last words? Koichi screamed as Naruto plunged his clawed hand into his left shoulder. The demonic shinobi proceeded to kick Koichi in his stomach, sending him flying back into a large rock. Koichi slowly got up and closed his eyes when Naruto licked his bloody hand. He then heard a soft whisper behind his ear. Never let your guard down. Naruto punched Koichi in the face and then clawed his chest. He followed that up with a powerful swipe with his tails. As Koichi was propelled into the air, he felt a hand grab his ankle and twist his body in the air. There was a sickly cracking noise in the ankle as he was thrown back to earth. As the hurt leaf ninja crashed in the ground, Naruto landed strongly on his back. Koichi coughed up blood and was picked up by the neck. Naruto smiled. What's wrong? I thought you said you were stronger than me, bastard. Naruto chuckled and moved his mouth to the brunette's ear. Said brunette screamed in terrible agony as his ear was literally bitten off. Naruto spit out the ear and punched Koichi in the face multiple times before he wrapped his snake tail around the body and slammed it into a nearby tree. He then stopped abruptly. Naruto growled as he felt his body move on its own and release Koichi. He heard a voice behind him. Kage main success. The sound Nin smirked as he was turned towards Shikamaru. said Konoha Gen and looked on in confusion until he figured it out. Naruto? Hello Nara, long time no see. Shikamaru could hear his teammates coming out of their hiding spots. He let them look at the new Naruto and sighed. Ino screamed out, Naruto, what have you done? I guess it's pretty obvious. Shikamaru sighed again. Whatever, you've been captured now and… Shikamaru stopped and gasped as he saw Naruto moving his right hand. The shadow user was shocked when he felt his hand doing the same and pull out a kunai. He panicked as he realized what Naruto was doing. Ino, move! He cursed as his hand almost stabbed his teammate. He wasted no time in retracting his shadow. Shikamaru, what are you doing? How troublesome, he somehow used my Kage against me in an attempt to kill you. Naruto smiled at the fools in front of him. They were so caught up in arguing that they didn't entice him move towards Koichi. He pulled out his sword and, as he was about to go in for the kill, a green-clad figure appeared beneath him and kicked him in the jaw. Konoha Senpu! Shikamaru, Ino and Choji were broken out of their argument at the yell. Rock Lee! Lee looked at the bodies on the floor and asked, Did you hurt these three? Did you hurt the beautiful Sakura? Don't get in my way, freak. Too late for that. Lee ran towards Naruto and tried to punch him in the gut. Naruto quickly evaded and slammed his tails in the green-clad ninja's back. Lee flipped and bounced back with an elbow aimed at Naruto's face. The Sound Nin chuckled and ducked backwards, following up with a kick in the face of the thick-eyebrowed boy. Said boy went into the air and while falling back down, pulled back a fist. Naruto swiped Lee away with his foxtail and flipped sideways in order to slam his leg against Lee's back. Konoha's green beast pushed himself upwards with his hands, flipped around and kicked Naruto in the chest. The blonde-haired genin growled as he was projected but soon smiled as an idea came to him. Tell me, Rock Lee, can you protect everyone down there? What are you talking about? Hee ha ha ha. Wa, Futon, Kabatsu Senpai no Jutsu. Lee's eyes widened as he understood what was happening. He looked at everybody around him, especially Sakura as the wind struck the ground in different places, creating mass destruction. Naruto was laughing at the sight of the trembling boy and the destruction. So this is the true power of the curse seal, amazing. Shikamaru was thinking of a plan when he realized something. Hey Uzumaki. These wins are random, right? Yeah, but it doesn't matter, you'll all be hit. Does that go for your teammates too? Naruto realized his mistake. So carried away was he in killing all his opponents that he had used a jutsu that could kill his own friends. Suddenly, as Shikamaru had told him, he saw a blade of wind heading towards Tayuya. He ran towards her and covered her with his own body. He clenched his teeth as he felt the damage being inflicted on his body. Once it was over, he slowly got up and brought Tayuya and Dosa to safety in a hole he made in a tree. When he was sure they would be safe, Naruto returned to the Konoha ninjas. His wounds healed and he lunged towards the unsuspecting Lee. Said Shinobi cried out as Naruto grabbed his head and slammed it into the earth. He was obviously unconscious. Naruto looked up towards Team Ino Shikacho with a feral smile. His jutsu was over and they were once again arguing over something. The Sound Nin jumped in the air out of their view and silently pulled out his sword. He was about to strike Shikamaru when he heard an unexpected voice yell out. Katon, Gakaku no Jutsu! Naruto cried out, as he was hit by the large fireball. When he got up he saw Ino practically hugging Sasuke. Naruto grinned in a sadistic manner seeing that his prey was awake again. He ran towards the raven-haired boy with his sword in hand yelling, Sasuke! This time I'll kill you for good. The Uchiha pushed Ino out of the way and pulled out his kunai. He jumped into a tree and, as Naruto was about to hit him, he shined out of the way. The blonde growled and jumped through the trees, looking for Sasuke. He came out into the clearing and heard an odd noise. It sounded like the chirping of thousands of birds. Naruto's eyes widened when he felt Sasuke's chakra spike. He turned around and saw the Leaf Nin running towards him with lightning covering his hand. Chidori! Naruto had no time to evade and received the attack right in the chest. He coughed out blood and looked at Sasuke's sad face. I'm sorry Naruto, but this was bound to happen. Naruto fell limp onto the ground and Sasuke turned away from him, not wanting to see the hole in his chest. The raven-haired boy walked towards Sakura, who was being woken up by Ino. He smiled faintly at her, and she understood what happened, seeing his bloody hand. That blood's not yours, is it? No, you had no choice. Shikamaru sighed and carried Koichi's body towards them. Sakura gasped and asked, Is he? No, he's just knocked out. They shared a moment of silence when they heard a yell. Lee! Above the green-clad ninja was a girl with her hair in buns and a pale-eyed boy. Said boy looked at them and asked, What happened? Shikamaru answered for them. Rock Lee helped us defeat that Sound Nin. Tenten gasped as she saw the body of Naruto. Is he dead? Yeah, Niji frowned at the sight. How could a boy with the strength to take on 7 genin be killed by one jutsu? The Hyuga activated his Byakugan and looked at the corpse. He found it odd that this boy had no chakra pathways. He looked hard and realized the problem. Bunshin! His Byakugan quickly caught sight of the real Naruto coming down towards them with his sword drawn. Niji yelled. Above! Everyone looked up at Naruto's demonic form coming down. They jumped out of the way and he created a crater in the ground. So now it's 7 against 1. He was about to attack when he felt a sharp pain in his head. It was so intense that Naruto fell to his knees, holding his head. Everyone gasped as he returned to his normal form. Soon everyone was face to face with the blonde-haired genin. Naruto slowly tried to stand up, but was unable. Both Neji and Shikamaru pulled out a kunai. They were about to attack when a gigantic snake appeared in front of them. Naruto crawled onto its back and found Dosu and Tayuya were there as well. They were awake and in slight shock. They were quickly taken away from the clearing. The remaining leaf genin all looked at each other in confusion and started separating into their own groups. Sasuke was the first to speak. "Thank you all for your help," Ino squealed. "Anything for you, Sasuke-kun." To her surprise, Sakura didn't yell at her. She decided to do something nice for a change. "Hey, we all have 2 scrolls, right? So let's go to the tower together." Everyone agreed, seeing they were all short a teammate except Ino's team. Naruto was in a small cave going over the events of the battle. He was brought out of his thoughts when he heard a familiar voice. Congratulations, Naruto, you activated the level 2 curse seal." Orochimaru's face suddenly turned serious. "Unfortunately, I never got the chance to warn you about using it for extended periods of time. It can be quite harmful to you, so unless completely necessary, avoid using it for now. Also, how did you manage to combine both your chakras?" "I don't know." Orochimaru knew something was troubling Naruto. "What's wrong?" "I lost control. I almost killed Tayuya and Dosu." But you didn't. Instead you saved them and defeated many opponents." "I failed my mission though." "Nonsense, you can handle that in the 3rd part of the exam. The exam we have to hurry and get to the tower." "Then go, I will be there in disguise." "Hi." Naruto ran out of the small cave and found Tayuya waiting for him. "Dosu went on ahead, so let's." She was cut off as Naruto wrapped his arms around her. Tayuya couldn't repress a blush. "What?" "I'm glad you're safe." She smiled and hugged him back. "Thanks to you." Their faces were slowly inching closer to each other, and finally they shared a passionate kiss. A bit after, they both pulled away and blushed. They each turned serious, and started running towards the tower. "Let's finish this." Once they were gone, Orochimaru came out of the cave and looked in Naruto's direction. An evil smile crept onto his face. Everything is going as planned. Chapter 10, Preliminaries, Trials of Blood. Naruto, Tayuya and Dosu stood before the tower in which the 2nd part of the Chunin exams would end. They started moving towards the entrance when a familiar chakra could be felt. Naruto smirked. "Hey there, Kabuto, what are you doing here?" "I am making sure that you understand your mission." "Don't worry, we know what to do." "Good. I also wanted to tell you that due to the unnaturally high level of teams remaining, there will be preliminary rounds." Dosu turned his one eye to Kabuto. "Preliminaries meaning that we must all pass." "Yes, but I will not be taking part. It would be too risky to show my abilities." "I see. Well then we should take our leave then." "Hi, I will go meet up with my team." "Good luck." As Kabuto disappeared from view, the 3 sound ninja entered the tower and opened their scrolls. In a puff of smoke appeared a sound Jounin. Naruto looked at him and smiled. "Nice outfit, Orochimaru-sama. I must take precautions. If they recognized me it would ruin the mission." "Right. Anyways, I hope you are prepared for the challenge awaiting you." "We are." "Good, let's enter then." As they entered, they were greeted with many stares. Naruto grinned evilly at the competition and let his eyes drift over everybody. He stopped when he felt killing intent coming somewhere to his left. He looked and frowned when he saw Koichi looking directly at him. He had a bandage around the ear that had been bitten off. Naruto then looked at Sasuke, who was talking to Kakashi when he entered. As though feeling his stare, the raven-haired boy turned towards him. He clenched his fists and spoke. "I will stop you, Naruto, no matter what." Sasuke's eyes widened as his former teammates started laughing. It was a frightening laugh that almost seemed insane. "Oh my, the great Sasuke Uchiha thinks he can defeat me. Ha ha ha, I doubt you can even hurt me." Not far from them, a high-pitched voice could be heard. "Sasuke-kun will beat you for sure this time, Uzumaki." Naruto smirked at Ino's antics, and as he was about to use his paralysis jutsu, Enko appeared in front of him. "This isn't the time to fight, brats. It will come soon." Naruto smiled at her maliciously, and put his hand on her back. "We weren't going to fight, Enko." "That's Enko-san to you, kid." Naruto's smile grew and he said in an evil, childish voice. "Oh, is it now?" He sent some chakra through his hand into her curse seal. Enko had to keep herself from gasping as she felt her curse seal react like never before. She felt as if it were starting to absorb all her chakra and replace it with its own dangerously seductive chakra. She could hear the voice in her head. "You shouldn't be afraid, use its power, turn your anger into your greatest weapon." Enko put her hand on her neck and felt her legs weaken. She was about to fall to the floor when Naruto removed his hand from her back. The purple-haired woman felt her energy return to her and saw Naruto's twisted smile. She turned to him and whispered, "You can tell the snake to go to hell." Naruto simply walked away, satisfied with what he had done. Orochimaru had taught him once that pushing his chakra into another's curse seal would cause the person to lose all their will. It was a good trick against traitors. The blonde genin felt a soft hand envelop his. He turned around and saw Tayuya looking at him. "You'll have to teach me that someday." "Hee, sure thing, Tayuya." They both seemed to be about to speak, but the words were lost in the booming voice of the Sandaime Hokage. "Congratulations to all of you. You have passed a difficult challenge and proven that you are the best of the best. Unfortunately, due to the large number of competitors, we have no choice than to have a preliminary round before the final exams. 2 ninja will be randomly selected and will fight. The winner will move on. A frail-looking jounin moved forward and coughed. I am Hate. I will be the proctor for this round. The match is over when someone gives up, is unable to battle, or dies. I can also intervene and end the match at any time. Now, if anyone wants to quit, now is the time. Only one hand was raised. It was Kabuto. Yes, I don't think I'd be able to continue. Alright, anyone else? No one lifted their hands, and so the first match was announced on the screen. Sasuke Uchiha vs Yoroi. Everyone else must go to the second floor. The battle did not last long. Sasuke quickly figured out that Yoroi could absorb his chakra and then proceeded to defeat Yoroi using his Sharingan. He returned to his team floor as the second match was announced. Misumi vs Kankuro. At first it seemed as if the match was going in Misumi's favor when he used his ability to extend his limbs, but Kankuro quickly turned the tables by revealing his puppet. He won the match easily. He returned to his teammates when the third match was announced. Tayuya vs Sakura. Sakura seemed to be slightly afraid while, on the other hand, Tayuya was grinning. Naruto smiled, turned to his red-haired teammate. Don't use all of your jutsu, keep them hidden for now, as if I'd need them against her. Naruto chuckled softly and watched as both girls descended on to the first floor. Sakura took a deep breath and got into her battle stance. The proctor coughed and lifted his hand. Begin! Sakura ran towards her opponent with a kunai in hand. Tayuya dodged her attack and grabbed Sakura by her hair. Sakura struggled to get free, but Tayuya kicked her behind the right leg. You know, bitch, you really suck. Maybe I should rip your hair out of your head to make you fight better. Sakura had tears running down her cheeks and pulled out another kunai. She swiped backwards and cut off some of her hair, making it short. Tayuya growled and tried to kick the cherry blossom, but she was too fast. Sakura then flipped in the air while making hand seals. From his position, Naruto quickly recognized the pattern. When did she learn? He suddenly realized that Kakashi probably trained her so that she could hold her own. He looked at Tayuya and hoped she would be smart enough to understand the attack. Sakura finished doing her hand seals and whispered, Shikyaka Katsueki. Tayuya felt something hit her forehead and looked up. She went wide-eyed as she saw blood falling everywhere. She had never been around so much blood. It was starting to become overwhelming when she faintly heard Naruto's voice. Genjutsu. Tayuya almost hit her head at her foolishness. She quickly dispelled the genjutsu and looked straight at the smiling Sakura. Said Genin's smile disappeared when she realized that her opponent had dispelled the attack. The sound Kunoichi smiled evilly. So you like genjutsu? She pulled out a flute and spoke before playing. Tenma Genkaku, Akumu Kukyokioka. As soon as she started playing her melody, Sakura started seeing people appearing in front of her. She felt joy grip her heart at the sight of the old Naruto laughing with Sasuke. She was about to run towards them when a large demonic hand came out of the ground and grabbed Sasuke by the legs. She screamed out as it ripped his legs off and blood gushed out. Naruto's smile turned sinister, and Sakura saw that the arm was actually his. Soon he transformed into his half-snake half-fox form and started slowly decapitating Sasuke. She screamed out as loud as she could, but no one came. Back in the real world, people looked on in confusion at Sakura, who was standing there screaming. Her eyes were wide and out of focus. Niji was starting to understand and activated his Byakugan. He gasped, seeing what she could. He quickly realized that other people were starting to see what was happening. Both Sasuke and Kakashi had their Sharingan, and both looked troubled. Kurai knew that it was a genjutsu. The Hyuga was about to deactivate his bloodline when something caught his attention. He saw that Sakura's heart rate was augmenting erratically, and would soon become fatally dangerous. Niji took initiative, and called out to the proctor. Proctor! If you don't stop this match, she could die. Hate nodded his head and stepped in, moving Tayuya's instrument away from her lips. The redhead looked at him angrily. What the fuck was that for? I had to end the match, or she would have died. Cough. Whatever, at least I won. Many people rushed from the stands to help Sakura. Kurai, being a genjutsu specialist, quickly analyzed the situation. Call a medic. They need to bring her out of shock. Hi! Both Sasuke and Lee looked at Tayuya angrily. Lee spoke first. How dare you hurt the beautiful Sakura so much? You didn't have to take it that far. Sasuke added his opinion as well. That was just taking it too far. They were both interrupted by the sound of laughter. They turned to the source and saw Naruto laughing hysterically. Ha 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 ha. Oh my, I never expected this from the last Uchiha. You who would do anything to get stronger than your brother. Besides, I think that if Sakura actually had some talent, she wouldn't have fallen to such an obvious genjutsu. Sasuke was clutching his fists in anger. Everyone else who knew Naruto in the past seemed in shock. Above them, the Hokage was shaking his head sadly at the sight. You've changed, Naruto. The Jounin soon rallied their respective teams and brought them back to the stands. Seeing that the situation was handled, Hate announced the next match, Tenten vs Temari. Naruto watched the match without interest, growing impatient to his own match. The match was over quickly when Tenten was knocked out, making Temari the winner. The next match was shown on the screen, Ino vs Shino. The match was over within seconds when Ino passed out at the sight of bugs crawling on her. Naruto sighed tiredly as the next match was announced, Dosa vs Kiba. Both competitors looked at each other in defiance. The proctor lifted his hand. Begin! Kiba let an overconfident smile creep onto his face. Wow, I get to fight an easy opponent, let's go Akamaru. Akamaru changed into another Kiba and they started using their signature move. Gutsuga. Dosu jumped out of the way of their attacks and waited for them to tire. When they did, he ran towards Kiba, seemingly missing him with a punch. Kiba laughed at the miss. Haha, you missed me you. The Inuzuka felt pain go through his ears and everything started spinning. Dosu looked at him and said, the sound waves from my attack are now affecting your senses. It's useless to continue fighting. Kiba growled and got up. He let his animal instincts guide him. As if I'd lose to a bastard like you. He jumped towards Dosu but the pain in his ears increased, and he missed pitifully. Said sound shinobi appeared behind Kiba and made hit a kunai against his melody arm. To everyone else it was but a slight metal sound, but to Kiba it was as if an explosion happened beside his ears. He soon lost consciousness, making Dosu the winner. Kiba was taken out of the room by medics as the next match was announced. Hinata Hyuga vs Niji Hyuga. The match was slightly interesting to Naruto, but it was clearly in Niji's favor. Hinata almost made a comeback when her confidence was brought up by people were cheering her name, but it wasn't enough to avoid losing. Niji had nearly killed her after some comments about him and his life, but he was stopped by the Jounin. When Hinata was taken to the infirmary, the next match was announced. Gaara vs Lee. Naruto was very interested in Gaara and his way of fighting. He was bloodthirsty and very powerful. He wondered if the Sand Ninja was part of the plan for Konoha's destruction. He was pulled out of his thoughts when Lee unleashed more gates. Rock Lee was obviously a dangerous opponent. In the end Lee was defeated and badly injured. His instructor, Guy, seemed very sad about the fact that Lee wouldn't fight again. Naruto thought the scene was pathetic, and was growing very impatient to his match. The next match was announced as Shikamaru vs Chuji. Chuji smiled slightly and lifted his hand. I forfeit, I already know that Shikamaru would win, and I don't want to bore him. Shikamaru was slightly shocked. Chuji grinned and whispered, I actually have a bit of indigestion. Troublesome. Hade coughed and spoke up. Shikamaru wins by default. Now Naruto Uzumaki vs Koichi Nimizaku. Everybody stopped talking as the two genin jumped down and glared at each other. Hade brought his hand up for the last time. Begin. He had barely even finished and the two had already started doing hand seals. Kazetama, Mizutama, both jutsu hit head-on, creating a slight shockwave. Both Naruto and Koichi jumped towards each other, swords drawn. Naruto blocked a strike and attempted to cut Koichi's arm, but was also blocked. What's wrong, Koichi, not feeling as confident without your father's sword? I don't need it to defeat you. They both started slashing at the other while blocking his hits. The speed they were going at was almost impossible to follow. From up in the stands, Sasuke couldn't help but whisper, incredible. Back in the battle, Koichi finally landed a hit on his blonde opponent. He was shocked, however, when said opponent disappeared in a cloud of smoke. His eyes widened when he heard the sound ninja's voice behind him. He think again. Koichi barely had to move his body, when Naruto's sword passed beside him like a rocket, making a small crater in the ground. Koichi turned and looked straight at Naruto. Not bad, Uzumaki, but it will take more than that to kill me. Are you sure? Wah! Suddenly, the Leaf Genin felt extreme pain in his right leg. He looked down and found Naruto's blade piercing his knee. How? I used a chakra string to pull it back towards you. Always mind your surroundings. Koichi cried out as he pulled the sword out of his leg but didn't let it stop him. He ran towards Naruto, discarding his own weapon in order to make hand seals. He then extended his hands in front of him, yelling out, Suetun, Mizu Masaira no Jutsu. Naruto let a twisted smile cover his face just as he was hit by the full force of the jutsu. Koichi growled and followed his jutsu with another, Mizutama. The jutsu added to the explosion and was followed up by another, Mizukadu. As all the jutsu were clearing up, Koichi started laughing. Finally, I killed you, demon. Everyone in the room gasped as a tail of red chakra came out of the smoke, slamming into Koichi and sending him across the room. When the smoke completely disappeared, everyone was shocked to see Naruto standing seemingly unharmed. He was enveloped in red chakra and his features were different. He had claws, longer whiskers and blood-red eyes. He smiled an even more twisted smile than before and slowly walked towards his opponent. Koichi looked up and yelled, How the fuck are you still alive? Did you really think such a pitiful jutsu would work on me? The brunette cried out in anger and started doing more hand seals. Mizutama, Isahari, Suetun, Mizu Masaira no Jutsu, Suetun, Mizu Bakuden no Jutsu. Koichi was breathing heavily after so many jutsu, but smiled, thinking he had killed Naruto. His eyes went wide as said opponent walked out of the smoke and debris unharmed. You! How? Naruto smiled wickedly at him and spoke in a voice that froze everybody to the core. You said it yourself, Koichi, I'm not human. Koichi screamed out in agony when Naruto grabbed his left hand and literally ripped it off. He tried to strike back, but his left leg was pierced by red chakra. Naruto felt amazing. He had heard the Kyuubi offer him chakra and accepted. He now felt its seductive power flowing through him. He could sometimes hear faint whispers telling him to destroy, kill, feed. He looked at Koichi with a sick smile and threw a kunai at every corner of the room. Oto Shihiki no Jutsu. Koichi felt fear grip his heart at the sight of the barrier. Naruto laughed and looked at him. Now nothing gets in or out. Koichi tried to get up but Naruto grabbed him by the arm, snapping it. Koichi cried out again and Naruto punched him, dislocating his jaw. Naruto looked at Koichi's bloodied body and felt excited. He walked towards the brunette and stabbed a hand through his stomach. When he pulled it out, it was like a fountain of blood. Koichi could only mutter, "Please stop." Naruto erupted in sick laughter and started filling Koichi's body with demonic chakra. To Koichi, it felt as if his insides were burning. Blood started pouring out of his mouth, and soon he was living by a thread. Naruto looked at the pitiful mess and yelled, "Die!" Koichi screamed out with all his remaining strength as his body literally melted. Outside the barrier, most of the genin were either crying, passed out or sick. They were all definitely frozen in fear. Sasuke fell to his knees and clutched his head seeing how much Naruto now resembled his brother. Neji was shaking all over, something that had never happened to him. Most of the jounin were also in shock and Kakashi gripped the railings in anger and sadness. Dosa simply watched, knowing that Naruto was under the Kyuubi's influence. Tayuya watched in amazement, witnessing the Kyuubi's sadistic power. Across the stands, Gaara was watching with a sick smile. He was even speaking to himself. Such power, such bloodlust, is this the one you seek, mother? When the barrier disappeared, Naruto slowly walked out. Proctor announced the victor. Hade nodded and spoke. Winner Naruto Uzumaki. Chapter 11, Events Unfolding. Rain poured down onto the streets of Konoha and thunder crashed in the distance. Although most people were staying inside their homes, Kakashi was standing in front of a small memorial stone, looking at the name engraved in it, Koichi Nimizaku. He clenched his fists, thinking back to the boy's death at the hands of his former student. Naruto, has Orochimaru really turned you into this monster? The jounin felt the hand on his shoulder but did not turn. He knew it was the Saname Hokage. Kakashi, there was nothing we could have done to stop this. Naruto has chosen his own path and sadly it is one of darkness. The only thing we can do now is put an end to his growing ambition. Kakashi tensed at the words. He knew what the Hokage said was true. Ever since Naruto had returned to the village, Kakashi had sensed it. The boy was ambitious and Orochimaru was like the fuel on the fire. You're right. It won't be long before he becomes more and more like that bastard Orochimaru. The Hokage smiled faintly. I'm starting to think that this was Orochimaru's plan all along. What do you mean? Orochimaru has probably realized that even with all his jutsu, he will someday be in a state of weakness. When that day comes, who do you think will take his place? Who will take control of his village and of his ambitions? Naruto. Yes, Naruto will become the seed of his ambition. Naruto will become a spawn of his evil. He will be our greatest fear. That is one thing I hope never to see. But I think I know what you want me to do. I will train Sasuke and he may be the one with the potential to stop Naruto. Yes, Sasuke has endured much in his life but I believe that somehow Naruto's betrayal has steered him into the right path. Naruto was on the top of the Hokage monuments looking at the village hidden in the leaves. He stood in the rain deep in thought. This place, it has caused me so much pain, but at last it will be my turn to show them pain. I will kill them all. He turned around at the feeling of a soft hand touching his arm. The blonde genin smiled at Tayuya who was looking at him with a worried expression. He smiled at her faintly. You shouldn't be here, Tayuya, you'll catch a cold. She got an angered expression and yelled. You're the one who's been out here for hours. Naruto gazed into her eyes and for the first time, he saw a deep sadness. Tayuya, her expression changed again into a look of sadness. I was scared when you killed Koichi, I was scared. It was the first time Naruto ever saw Tayuya showing her true emotions. She hides behind masks like I used to. I was scared that you might lose yourself to that chakra. That you might. Naruto pulled her close to him and kissed her. Tayuya put her arms around him and returned the kiss. When they pulled out of the kiss, Naruto spoke. No matter what happens, I will never lose myself to the Kyuubis, will I promise. Tayuya smiled at him and spoke very softly. And I promise to always help you reach your goals. Sasuke walked the streets of Konoha deep in thought. He kept thinking back to Koichi's death. True, they never were very close, but he couldn't believe how Naruto had brutally murdered him. The raven-haired boy suddenly heard someone approaching him from behind. He turned around with a kunai in his hand. He sighed in relief as he saw his sensei. Sorry, Kakashi-sensei, I've been on edge lately. It's alright. Sasuke, we need to go somewhere secluded as soon as possible. It's time I got you ready for the finals and for Naruto. What? Don't forget he will be your first opponent. I almost forgot. Alright, let's go. Yes. Naruto was walking from the hot springs where he had left Tayuya. He was about to turn on a street when he heard a perverted giggle. He slowly made his way into a tree and saw an old white-haired man looking in a small hole at the girl's side of the springs. Knowing Tayuya was in there, the Sannin pulled out a kunai and prepared to throw it at the pervert. His eyes widened when he felt a kunai on his neck. He turned slightly and gasped. You! When did you? He looked back and saw the old man who was peeping poof into smoke. Naruto grit his teeth. Bunshin, the old man chuckled. You're good at hiding your chakra but not good enough to hide it from me. And who are you? I am the great toad Sannin-ji, more like Arrow Sennin. Naruto suddenly realized what he had just said. Sannin! As I was saying, kid, I am the great toad Sannin, Jiraiya. Fine, can you let me go now? Yes, but first. Jiraiya got a serious look and pulled his free hand out from behind his back. Each one of his fingers had a purple glow to them. Sorry kid Gojo Fuin, Naruto cried out in pain as he felt his stomach contract under the odd seal. He soon collapsed on the ground unconscious. Jiraiya sighed. You can't always depend on the fox's chakra, and also I have to take you with me. He bent down to pick up Naruto when, suddenly he heard a bone-chilling voice. Kakuka Jiraiya, I would let Naruto be if I were you, he is my student. Orochimaru, as much as I don't like it, I am fulfilling one of the Yandame's last requests. He has to learn to use his own chakra, and to do that I have changed the seal so that only the fox's chakra is blocked out. Also I have to teach him the Rinnegan. I didn't know you helped traitors Jiraiya. Especially if he will use it against this village. I must obey the force wishes. This village drove him away and you took advantage of the situation, but he is still Naruto Uzumaki. Kakuka, in that case you may teach him that jutsu. But remember that no matter how far you go I have eyes everywhere. I know, and don't worry, once I'm done I will let you take him back, but in exchange you do not undo the seal. He must find a way on his own. Kakuka, it won't take him long. He is very clever. You do know that once I have done this, I will have fulfilled the Yandame's request and I will come after you eventually. Kakuka, you'll be expected. Chidori. Rock fragments scattered all over the ground. When the debris was gone, Sasuke could be seen on his knees breathing heavily. He slowly got up and was about to charge another Chidori when Kakashi placed a hand on his shoulder. That's good enough for now, Sasuke. I have a new jutsu to teach you now. A new jutsu? Yes, it. Kakashi suddenly stopped talking and looked into the distance. He seemed troubled. What's wrong, Kakashi-sensei? The Jounin stayed silent for a few seconds before turning back to Sasuke with his one eye smiling. Sorry, I thought I sensed something. Anyways, back to that jutsu. Sasuke was listening to Kakashi explain the jutsu, never once realizing that Kakashi had one hand behind his back, holding a kunai. Naruto slowly started to stir. He felt a slight pain in his stomach. When he opened his eyes, he saw the toad Chunin, and he instantly remembered what had happened. You! What did you do to me? Listen kid, I am Jiraiya of the Chunin and I am going to train you for a while. You're not my sensei. Besides, Orochimaru-sama would kill you if he knew. Ha! I'd like to see him try. Besides, Orochimaru approved of this. I am to teach you a technique. Why would he let you? It's the Yandame Hokage's own jutsu, the Rinnegan. The Rinnegan. Naruto remembered reading about that jutsu in Otogekire's library. Why would you teach it to me? I am your village's enemy. It was the Yandame's last request. Why would that bastard want you to teach me that jutsu? Jiraiya sighed and decided to avoid the subject. Listen, someday you'll understand. The bottom line is it's a powerful jutsu and I am offering to teach it to you. Naruto weighed his options and decided to agree. Fine, but what did you do to me earlier? It's a sealing jutsu that blocks out the Kyuubi's chakra. Why did you do that? Because you've grown too reliant on that chakra and have neglected your own. It will be up to you to remove the seal when you are ready. Orochimaru will train you to use your chakra when you will have learned the Rinnegan. Speaking of which, shall we begin training? Hi. Sakura was slowly walking through the village thinking back to the Chunin preliminaries. I shouldn't think of that, I must move forward. I know. I'll buy some flowers for Lee and see how he's recovering. The cherry blossom stopped by the Yamanaka flower shop and, as she was looking through the flowers, she heard an annoying voice behind her. Ha, if you think flowers will win Sasuke over, you are wrong. Actually, Ino there for Lee. Oh well, I'll come with you. What? Hey, I've been stuck here for a while. A little break wouldn't hurt. And so the two kunoichi picked some flowers and left the shop in direction of the hospital. While they were walking, they heard two familiar voices. Ha ha ha, he did warn you about catching a cold, Tayuya. Shut up, asshole. I'm just saying, if you don't shut it I will kick your ass so badly you won't be able to sit for a week. DOSU. Sakura visibly paled when she saw Tayuya. Said Redhead looked at her and smiled heavily. Well, if it isn't the little cherry blossom. Did you come to get your ass kicked again? And who's that pig? Ino got an angry look and pulled a fist back, yelling, Bitch! The fist never made it though, as Tayuya simply dodged and kicked Ino in the gut. Ha ha ha, see ya later, slut. As they walked away, Sakura kneeled beside Ino and cried out, Ino! Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, let's go see Lee. Orochimaru slowly paced in a small room as if waiting for someone. A twisted smile appeared on his face when he heard footsteps. It wasn't long before a cloaked figure entered the room. The figure was obviously a man, but in the darkness only his eyes could be seen. They were a dark purple color and seemed to emanate a cold hatred. Kabuto, who had been standing behind the snake Chunin, looked at the figure, bowed to Orochimaru-sama. The newcomer simply looked at Kabuto, and within seconds the sound spy fell to the ground unconscious. Orochimaru chuckled and walked over Kabuto. You know what I have called you here for, Kausu? A deep, evil voice came from within the hood. Hi, it will be done when the invasion begins. Kakuka, then the plan will be a success. Chapter 12, Chunin Finals, Clash of the Rivals. The sun shone brightly over the hidden village of Konoha, a fact that suited the spectators of the Chunin exam finals. In the middle of the large arena where the finals were taking place, stood the 10 competitors. The proctor for the finals looked at them and explained the rules. The rules are the same as in the preliminaries. The match goes on until someone forfeits, is unable to battle, or dies. I can also step in at any second and end the match, so don't try to argue with me. The Jounin looked up at the Hokage and nodded. The Sandaime then raised his voice to the crowd. Thank you all for coming to this event. In a few moments the matches will begin. Please be patient for a little longer. He then turned to the Jounin behind him. Has Sasuke arrived yet? No, Hokage-sama, we are still looking for him. Damn, regardless, we must move on, his match is last anyways. The Sandaime then turned his head at the sound of footsteps. He smiled at his guest. Welcome Kazekage-sama, Hokage-sama. They sat and watched as the first two contestants walked into the center of the arena. The proctor looked at each of them and spoke. Temari versus Taiyuya begin. Both of the kunoichi jumped towards each other with drawn kunai. Temari knew they would both be going easy since they had to save their strength for the invasion. She clenched her teeth thinking back to something her sensei had told them. The blonde kid gives the signal. When he does, we begin the invasion. The blonde-haired Chunin was pushed out of her thoughts by a strange melody Taiyuya had started playing. Before she knew what was happening, a large hand came out of the ground towards her. She used her fan to create a small whirlwind that destroyed the weird hand. Across from her, Taiyuya was smirking and preparing another attack. You know, for a Sannin you aren't too impressive. You're no match for me. Temari laughed and replied, up yours bitch. They both started doing hand signs. Temari finished first and yelled, Suna Senpa no Jutsu. The large whirlwind of sand engulfed Taiyuya with a destructive force. Thinking she had won, Temari chuckled. Too bad, you look tougher than that. The sand genin froze when she heard another melody coming from inside the whirlwind. The melody was soft at first but soon became louder and more aggressive. Temari gasped when a demonic head shot out of the sand. She jumped out of the way but was hit from behind by another demonic hand. As she went flying towards the whirlwind, she saw Taiyuya walk out unharmed with another large creature behind her. Temari tried to get her fan ready but was grabbed by the creature and felt a crushing force upon her. The redhead in front of her laughed and called out to the proctor. Proctor! The match is over and I suggest you end it before this bitch gets more than a few broken bones. Genma waited a few moments before nodding. The match is over. The winner is Taiyuya. The crowd cheered and Taiyuya released Temari from her jutsu and lowered her voice to speak to the blonde girl. I didn't break any of your bones since you'll be helping in the invasion. Afterwards, she walked inside towards the stairs leading to the other contestants. She was about to go through the door when a hand grabbed her by the waist. She turned around and smiled at Naruto. Nice fight, she replied by kissing him passionately. They stayed there, happy in each other's arms. She laid her head on his shoulder. Naruto, where were you for the last few weeks? Orochimaru-sama just said that you were getting ready. I was training for my match. Were you worried? Taiyuya blushed and turned her head away from him. Of course not, asshole. Aha. You were, weren't you? She turned around angrily and walked towards the door. Fuck off. Naruto chuckled and took her hand, pulling her towards him. He then once again pressed his lips against hers. After their kiss, they slowly walked towards the doors and heard the proctor announce that Kankuro had forfeited the match. Taiyuya whispered something to Naruto when the crowd was yelling their disappointment. So you're going to give us the signal to start the invasion? Yeah, that's what Orochimaru-sama told me. But first I will defeat Sasuke in front of his pitiful village. He had a sadistic smile on his face as he said those words. Taiyuya smiled evilly and replied, I'll be waiting. Jiraiya was running across the rooftops towards the arena. He had a troubled expression on his face. Damn it, I have to warn the old man. If my source is right, then Orochimaru must be planning to. The Sannin quickly ducked as a shuriken passed above his head. What the? His eyes widened as a mysterious figure appeared before him. The man was cloaked and had dark purple eyes. Jiraiya laughed at the man. Are you one of Orochimaru's lapdogs? The man simply lifted his gaze towards the Sennin's face. Jiraiya looked into the man's eyes and gasped as he saw a crimson circlet appear around each pupil. It can't be a Kumigan. Everyone in the arena was cheering on as the two next competitors walked in. On one side stood a very nervous-looking Shikamaru. This is so troublesome. Across from him stood Gaara, with an unreadable expression on his face. When the proctor declared the beginning of the battle, Shikamaru sighed and tried to think of a good strategy. Damn, this is troublesome. What can I do against this guy? After what he did to Lee, how can I win? He cursed as he felt sand grab his leg and throw him towards the red-haired shinobi. Shikamaru felt more sand grab him and put him face to face with Gaara. Said ninja just looked at him. Shikamaru knew what his opponent would probably end up killing him, so he got an idea. He pulled out a kunai and rolled an explosive knot around it. He then threw it to the ground where the sand was. The explosion released Shikamaru from the sand and he landed behind Gaara. Before the Chunin could turn around, Shikamaru used his signature jutsu, Kagame no Jutsu. Gaara's eyes widened when he could no longer move. Shikamaru smiled and explained his jutsu to his opponent. This jutsu allows me to control your actions, meaning that you're finished. Suddenly, Shikamaru felt sand wrap around his neck. He tried to breathe but found that he couldn't. The proctor lifted his hand in the air. That's enough. The winner is Gaara. Shikamaru felt the sand release him and gasped for air. He heard Gaara mutter, pathetic. When the two competitors were back up in the stands, the proctor announced the next match. Neji against Dosu. Neji jumped down into the arena and Dosu prepared to do the same when he felt a hand on his shoulder. He didn't turn, knowing already that it was Naruto. Don't waste too much chakra, Dosu. If it gets too tough, forfeit and save your energy for later. Don't insult me, Naruto. You know full well that I can take this guy. Alright, just don't make it too long. Dosu jumped into the arena and got into a stance. The proctor looked at him, the Niji, and yelled, "Begin!" Niji smirked and got into his stance. Dosu chuckled before jumping towards him. He threw a punch, but his opponent dodged it easily. The Hyuga prodigy laughed. "Is that all you've got?" Dosu chuckled. "Fool, be more perceptive." Niji suddenly felt a sharp pain in his ears. His vision started to blur, and he had trouble concentrating. "Not bad sound, Nin, but I'm not finished." Dosu laughed and prepared another punch. His fist approached his opponent's face, but the Hyuga started spinning. "Kaiten!" Dosu was pushed back by a strong force and crashed into the ground. When Niji stopped spinning, he looked at Dosu with another smirk. "You were destined to lose to me. It's pointless to try to beat me." The sound Nin slowly got up while chuckling evilly. "You really are a fool, aren't you? There's no such thing as destiny." He started making hand signs and then attempted to punch Niji. Said Leaf Nin simply moved his head back and grabbed the fist in his hand. He was about to laugh, but Dosu yelled something out. "Fool! Oto Yaiba no Jutsu!" Niji cried out in pain as he felt the sound concentrate into a sword, which pierced his hand. He fell to his knees holding his bloody hand. Dosu chuckled again. "Destiny is a lie and believing in it is a coward's way out." Niji growled and started preparing a jutsu. "You arrogant bastard, I'll show you our lives are all controlled by destiny." Niji smirked and started his jutsu. Hakurokujian Sho. Dosu's eye widened, realizing he couldn't escape in time. Niji started striking and Dosu felt his chakra points being closed off. 2 strikes, 4 strikes, 8 strikes, 16 strikes, 32 strikes, 64 strikes. Niji looked at Dosu, who was struggling to move on the ground, and turned to the proctor. "The match is over. I've closed off all his chakra." The Hyuga was cut off at the sound of chuckling. He turned and went wide-eyed at the sight of his opponent getting up. "What? How? You were so blinded by anger that you didn't notice me create a barrier. Well then, you'll just have to do it again because it is your destiny to lose to me." Dosu started to run towards Niji. "Fuck destiny." In his shock, Niji almost forgot to use the kaiten. When he started spinning, it was too late, and his opponent punched him in the face with all his might, and the added effect of the melody arm. Niji slowly felt everything go dark. The last thing he heard before passing out was "Make your own choices, don't hide behind destiny" as an excuse. The crowd cheered for Dosu, who had just defeated the Hyuga prodigy. As the sound Nin arrived into the stands, he heard an annoyed scream. "You fucking idiot! If that jutsu had hit you, you'd have no chakra left, shithead. Don't make such close calls. Whatever you say, Taiyuya." He looked over at Naruto, who had a twisted smile on his face. Dosu decided not to talk to his blonde teammate since he was in one of his phases, as he liked to call them. Naruto jumped into the arena and waited for his opponent. Genma looked confused when a jounin whispered something into his ear. He nodded and addressed the crowd. "Sasuke Uchiha has yet to arrive, so an extra 10 minutes will be given. If he does not arrive within that time, he will be disqualified and Naruto Uzumaki will win by default." There were many shouts of anger from the crowd. Things like, "You can't let that monster win by default. And the demon is behind this. Disqualify him, not Uchiha." Naruto simply stood there taking in the insults. When there were only 3 seconds left, his smile grew even more twisted as Sasuke and Kakashi appeared in the middle of the field. The proctor grinned and looked at Kakashi. "You're late." Sasuke wasn't eliminated, was he? "No, he just made it." "Oh, that's a relief." Sasuke turned to Naruto. "So this is it, and Naruto?" "Yeah, it is. That's why." "Why what?" "That's why we'll make it a fight no one will ever forget." Sasuke's eyes widened as Naruto pulled out a kunai and ran towards him. The Uchiha dodged to the side and pulled out his own kunai to deflect the next attack. The proctor smirked. "And I didn't even say go yet." Naruto threw his kunai at Sasuke and jumped into the air. "I hope you'll make this a worthy battle, Sasuke, because this won't end until one of us dies." Sasuke clenched his teeth and did some hand signs at blinding speed. "Katon, Gokakyu no Jutsu." Naruto did his own hand seals and clasped his hands together. "Oto Shihiki no Jutsu." When the barrier stopped the fireball, Naruto ran towards Sasuke with another kunai in his hand. His opponent pulled, ducked, and kicked the blonde into the air. The Uchiha then threw 3 shuriken at the sound Nin. Naruto laughed and began spinning in the air, effectively dodging all the projectiles. When he landed on the ground, he made more seals and pointed his palm at Sasuke. "Let's turn it up a notch, Sasuke." "Marukapura Kazetama." Sasuke cursed and started running backwards while making his own hand signs. "Shit! Katon, Hanu Shihiki no Jutsu." As the flames stopped the bullets, Sasuke stared at Naruto with his Sharingan active. "This is it, Naruto, I'm taking you down." "Ha ha ha, you're the one who's going down, Sasuke." They both seemed to be concentrating chakra into their hands. From Sasuke a bird-like sound could be heard and lightning collected around his hand. Naruto smirked sadistically as an orb of blue chakra appeared in his hand. Up in the stands, Sakura seemed nervous. "Kakashi-sensei, what is that in Naruto's hand?" Kakashi looked on in shock. "It can't be the..." Naruto looked at Sasuke and yelled out. "Shall we finish this, Sasuke?" "Yes, Naruto, let's finish this." They both ran towards each other in the full intent to kill. Chidori, Rinnegan. When the two attacks collided, a large shockwave swept across the arena. Both genin were pumping as much chakra as they could into their attacks, trying to overpower the other. It soon became clear that they were pushing themselves too far as their arms seemed to pulse, and soon began to bleed out of the cuts that were forming themselves on them. Sasuke cried out in anger and pain and pushed even more chakra into the attack, and Naruto felt the seal that Jiraiya had placed on him break. The blonde refused to use the Kyuubi's chakra and poured more of his own into the attack. Soon both genin reached their limits and let go. The effect of the two attacks together created a very large explosion which even forced the proctor to jump into the stands. When the smoke finally cleared, there was a loud collective gasp and the crowd went silent. In the middle of the field stood Naruto above Sasuke, who was on the ground. Naruto pulled out his sword and pointed the tip towards Sasuke's heart. Sasuke coughed up blood and yelled out, "If this is what you want to do, then go ahead and finish me." Naruto started chuckling and was soon laughing madly. "Ha ha! You really are a fool, Sasuke. Your village has just witnessed your defeat, and now you are free to weak to resist." "Resist what? Ha ha ha, don't you see the purpose of this? Now that you can't move." Two sound jounin appeared beside Naruto. "You can be taken to Odogekyo, where you will become Orochimaru's new vessel." Sasuke couldn't believe what he had just heard. "Vessel? Yes, your Sharingan will prove a valuable asset to obtaining Orochimaru's desires. Oh, and don't expect your village to stop us." "What do you mean?" Naruto looked up into the stands where the people had fallen asleep. "It's time. Begin the invasion." Chapter 13, Invasion of Konoha, Part 1. Begin the invasion. As soon as the words left his mouth, there was a large explosion from where the Hokage and the Kazekage were sitting. Naruto simply walked towards his teammates as Sasuke was being taken by two sound jounin. Suddenly Naruto ducked and then kicked a Konoha Chunin in the chin. Another came from behind him, but Naruto evaded the attack and stabbed him in the back. When he reached his friends, the blonde genin smiled wickedly. "Well, this will prove to be quite entertaining." Taiyuya chuckled. "Yes, I've been waiting quite a long time to kill some leaf nin." Dosa sighed and turned to Taiyuya. "Taiyuya, you know you have to join the Sound Four and help with Orochimaru's fight. I suggest you go now because it already began. Whatever, leave me a few at least." "Hi." When the redhead jumped away towards the Hokage battle, Naruto turned to Dosu. "So, shall we start this invasion properly? Yeah, let's have ourselves some fun. By who shall we start?" "Well," Naruto turned towards the group of genin in the stands that Sakura had woken up. The group consisted of Sakura, Ino, Shikamaru and Shuji. Kakashi was occupied with the attacking sound ninjas. "How about them? Why not let's show them why they're not meant for the shinobi world." Both genin started running towards the stands. The group seemed unaware of the imminent danger. They were deciding a game plan. Sakura was the first to speak. "Kakashi told us to follow those sound nin and get Sasuke back. But it's too dangerous to go against jounin," said a very frightened-looking Ino. Shikamaru was about to give his opinion when, suddenly he felt killing intent from behind him. When he turned, he was face to face with Naruto. "Naruto?" The genin all turned towards the new arrival. They all seemed to back up a step. All except Shikamaru, who simply stood there. Ino whispered to him, "Shikamaru, move." The lazy ninja turned around, and to his teammates' shock, he had a kunai embedded in his stomach. Naruto smiled with insanity as he punched the Shikamaru out of the way. "Shikamaru! No!" Ino screamed in terror. She then turned to Naruto with an unreadable expression. "You bastard, I'll kill you!" She ran towards the blonde with a kunai in hand. Naruto simply evaded all her attacks. "Oh, even when you're angry, this is all you can do? Don't worry, you'll join him soon." Naruto grabbed her wrist and made her drop her kunai with a cracking noise. The blonde-haired girl cried out in pain. Naruto then pulled out his own kunai and prepared to go in for the kill. "Goodbye." Suddenly, the sound genin found himself unable to move. He chuckled and turned his eyes towards Shikamaru, who was standing up painfully. "Ah, so you are not dead yet? Oh well, it would have been quicker." Dosu appeared behind Shikamaru. Said Konoha genin quickly moved out of the way, releasing the jutsu that was holding Naruto. Luckily, Ino had moved away from the blonde. Dosu suddenly moved out of the way as a large boulder rolled past. Boulder was revealed to be Chuji. Naruto laughed at them and turned his head to Dosu. "Dosu, you handle these three. And you? I have some unfinished business." Naruto slowly turned his gaze to the pink-haired Kunoichi standing in front of him. "Hello, Sakura-chan." "Nah, Naruto." Suddenly, the cherry blossom ran towards her old teammate. Naruto realized that she had greatly improved from before. "Impressive, Sakura. I might actually have to put some effort into this battle." "Why are you doing this, Naruto? Why? Why?" Suddenly, Naruto was holding Sakura by the throat against the wall. "Because of people like you, people who refuse to accept me. People who always put the blame on me." Because of, he clutched his stomach with his free hand. "Because of the Kyuubi." Sakura was running out of air, and had tears running down her cheeks. "Na are you time so why? You're too late." Sakura started losing focus and was on the verge of passing out. Naruto whispered something into her ear. "They'll make it quick." Suddenly, he released his grip and jumped sideways. He looked angrily at the person who had interfered. "Kakashi." The village of Konoha was in complete panic. In the streets, ninja were battling and some innocents were being killed. Oddly enough, there was little resistance. Only a few jounin were fighting the sound and sand shinobi. Unknown to the invaders, the civilians were being evacuated to safety within the mountains. On the head of the Yondaime Hokage's statue stood Jiraiya. The Sannin was breathing heavily. He suddenly turned around and grabbed the fist of the cloaked figure before him. Who are you really? Judging by your eyes you have the Akumigan, meaning I am from the Yakami clan, said the mysterious man in a deep and hollow voice. I am Kausa Yakami, last survivor of my clan. Jiraiya sighed. So Orochimaru is using your bloodline until it happens? Do not confuse yourself, Gamma Sennin. I am only helping Orochimaru for my own benefits. Really? You know all of his lapdogs end up saying that. Kausa chuckled. He then gazed into his opponent's eyes. Jiraiya tried to turn away but found that it was too late. Damn it, the white-haired Sannin dropped his arms to his sides and was trembling. Damn it all, what's happening to me? Jiraiya clenched his teeth. In front of him was standing a blonde boy of about 12. What's wrong, sensei? It's genjutsu. Dispel, yelled the nearly frantic Jiraiya. What are you talking about, sensei? Hey, are we going to start training soon? I want to learn a new jutsu. Jiraiya cursed and punched the boy, hoping it would stop the genjutsu. To his dismay, the boy got up holding his cheek in pain. Hey! Why'd you do that, sensei? Erasure is dead, I won't fall for your genjutsu. What are you talking about, sensei? I'm not dead, I'm right here. Jiraiya ran towards the boy and punched him in the stomach. If it's henge, this will dispel it. The boy got up and wiped blood from his chin. Damn it, Jiraiya-sensei, are you nuts? What's gotten into you? Suddenly, Erasure cried out and pointed to the village. Sensei! There are ninja attacking the village. Jiraiya turned towards the village and saw that there was no genjutsu. The Sound and Sand Shinobi were still there. One of them turned around and saw him. He ran up towards him and looked from him to the boy. How, an old man and a little boy, this should be easy. You can see the boy? The little blonde kid with blue eyes? I can see him. Hey, aren't you Jiraiya of the Sannin? Erasure ran towards the man and kicked him in the face. He then threw him off the mountain. Come on, sensei! Let's take care of these shinobi. He ran into the village and started fighting the attackers. Jiraiya simply looked at him, then muttered, Can it be? He then ran towards the blonde and helped him defeat the invaders he had attacked. Erasure, what do you remember? What happened before all of this? What are you talking about? I had ramen at Ichiraku's with old man Hokage. Then I met with you to train on a new technique. Oh yeah, Orochimaru-san told me that afterwards you were to meet him for your mission to the Cloud Village. But where did these ninja came from? Jiraiya couldn't believe it. He clearly remembered the day Erasure was talking about. Erasure, have you really come back? But what about that Kausa guy? Suddenly something caught his eye. He looked to his right and saw Kausa standing beside him. You see, Jiraiya, this is not genjutsu. I have used a jutsu that enables me to bring someone from the past to the present. This is Kazama Erasure. It can't be. Suddenly Erasure appeared behind Kausa and kicked him in the back. Seeing his chance, Jiraiya charged a Rinnegan and slammed into Kausa's heart. The man fell to his knees and muttered, Impossible, the child was supposed to slow you down, how could he? The man's body went still. Jiraiya turned to Erasure. I don't know how, but you are here. We will take care of some of these invading shinobi, and then head to a safe place so that I can explain what's happening. Okay, but can you teach me that jutsu? The Rinnegan? Yeah. It was so cool. Perhaps. Alright, let's take on some of the invaders first, then we can head to where the civilians are hiding and make sure it's safe to continue with the counterattack. Right. As they ran towards more Sound Sand Ninja, Jiraiya never saw Kausa's hood fall off. The figure was that of Sand Shinobi, and his eyes were a dull green. Naruto was silently staring at his old sensei. Hello, Kakashi. You know these encounters of ours are getting quite annoying. Naruto, I went easy on you before, but no more. You are clearly lost. For the good of the village I will kill you. Kakashi lunged at Naruto, but was intercepted by a kunai that came from the side. He looked to his side and saw an Umbu standing there. What are you doing? Go help the Hokage. Suddenly he realized that he had two Sound Nin with him. I see you're one of them. The man removed his mask to reveal his face. Naruto chuckled. Hey Kabuto, what are you doing here? Naruto, your mission is to kill as many shinobi as you can. I can't let Kakashi interfere. He is a jounin and could kill you. I've defeated him before, I can do it again. Yes, but before you always had Orochimaru with you. You might not have realized, but he was always helping out. Now go. Hi. Naruto ran towards Dosu and left the two men to their fight. Hey Dosu, are you done? Yes, they were no match. I just have to deal the killing blow. Wait! Yelled Naruto as he kneeled down beside Ino, Shikamaru and Chuji. Why wait? I want to give them a reason to get stronger and seek me out. I want them to come back and show me a worthy match. He then looked at the three genin. So, what will motivate you? Shikamaru looked at him and understood what he meant. Naruto, don't. Naruto looked at him and smiled evilly. I know you'll be a match, so. He pulled out his sword. It will be Chuji. Shikamaru cried out as Naruto's pointed his blade towards his friend's heart. No! Chuji! Ino was sobbing on the ground beside and begging Naruto to stop while Shikamaru was frantically trying to get up. Naruto's smile grew wider, and just as he was about to kill the boy, something happened. Memories started to come to him of the good times he had in the village. He remembered cutting classes with Shikamaru, Chuji and Kiba. He remembered fighting to avenge Sasuke's supposed death in the battle with Haku, he remembered eating ramen with Irika, and he remembered eating lunch with his team. He clutched his head, dropping his sword, and cried out, "Make it stop! Make them go away!" Kakashi and Kabuto stopped fighting and looked at the blonde. Naruto kept having memories until suddenly he heard the Kyuubi's voice from deep inside. "The gift, boy, the demon's gift, give yourself to it, and I will be able to help you." Not sure what to do, Naruto lifted his left arm in the air. The red mark left on his arm started glowing and Naruto felt power overwhelm him. He felt the seal Jiraiya placed on him break and felt the Kyuubi's chakra pull him into his own mind. When he opened his eyes he saw that he was in front of the Kyuubi's cage. "Welcome back, boy, it's been a while." Naruto could feel even more memories haunting him. "How do I use the gift?" "It's simple, really. The gift can only be used in a moment of extreme psychological danger. A moment where your mind is in danger." Naruto looked at the Kyuubi with a frantic expression. "To use it you must simply let me control a portion of your mind for a while." "Fine. As long as it makes the memories stop." "Of course." The Kyuubi extended his chakra and it grabbed Naruto's arm. When the blonde opened his eyes he saw all the ninja looking at him oddly. Taking the opportunity, Shikamaru threw a kunai at him. Suddenly, Naruto felt a sharp pain in his arm. Red chakra surrounded him and soon his left arm turned fox-like, as did a portion of his face. He caught the kunai and looked at Shikamaru. Too slow. His arm then moved on its own and grabbed Shikamaru by the neck. He was about to kill the boy when he heard a cry behind him. "Gaara, stop! He's our ally!" Naruto released the lazy genin and looked straight at Gaara. The redhead also had a mad smile on his face. "Fight me, Uzumaki, as you wish, my dear Shikaku." Chapter 14, Invasion of Konoha, Part 2. Naruto slowly walked towards Gaara, who was almost mimicking his twisted smile. When he reached him, the blonde tried to punch him with his left hand. Gaara could only smirk as his sand protected him and wrapped around his opponent's arm. Naruto started pushing more chakra into the arm and soon caused the sand to be blown away. He then started a relentless array of punches and kicks, hoping to get past the sand. When it didn't work, the Oto ninja started making hand seals, and then pointed his hand to Gaara. "Kazetama!" The redhead laughed when the sand deflected the attack as if it was nothing. "Is that all you have, Uzumaki? Fool, that was a distraction." Gaara's eyes went wide when he saw Naruto running towards him with a blue sphere of chakra in his hand. Rinnegan! The attack went through Gaara's sand and hit him in the stomach. The sand went flying into a wall, and then fell into the arena. Naruto spared one last glance at the group of genin he wanted to dispose of before jumping into the arena. When he landed, the blonde had to jump out of the way as a large fist of sand came towards him. When he looked again, he saw Gaara with a bit of blood coming from his mouth. The boy's face was twisted to insanity, and sand was covering his entire being. He cried out in anger as the sand settled on him. Naruto clenched his fists at the sight. Before him stood a miniature version, the Shikaku. He ran towards the monster but was batted away by its tail. When he got back up, Naruto was once again face to face with the creature. Fast. The Otokage student was punched in the stomach hard enough to knock the breath out of him. When he was punched, Naruto had grabbed Gaara's hand and stabbed a kunai in his chest. Gaara looked down at the kunai and laughed. "A kunai? You're pathetic." Naruto chuckled and pointed at the weapon. "Look again, dumbass." Gaara looked again and gasped when he saw an explosive tag on it. When it exploded, Naruto jumped backwards and laughed at the sight that followed. Gaara's body was completely deformed. It wasn't long until sand started to reform it. He looked at the blonde through his golden eyes and started talking. "I won't go back, not to that loneliness. I found my goal. And that is to kill everyone to prove my own existence." He ran towards Naruto and brought his hand to his mouth. "You are my prey." Suna Masairin no Jutsu. Naruto quickly evaded the large missile of sand, only to hear Gaara yell again. Marukapura's Suna Masairin no Jutsu. Naruto tried his best to avoid them, but saw that it was impossible. He quickly made some hand seals and then clasped them together. Oto Shihiki no Jutsu. As the barrier blocked the attacks, Naruto saw the sand start to cover him. He cursed and tried to get away, but found that he couldn't. He quickly made hand seals, but was covered entirely by the sand. Gaara smiled savagely and screamed. "Sabaka Q!" When Naruto was completely immobilized, Gaara screamed again. "Sabaka Soso!" The redhead laughed insanely as Naruto was seemingly crushed. When the sand fell, Gaara growled at the sight of Naruto still standing. The blonde hardly had a scratch from the attack. Gaara was pissed. So much so that killing intent was pouring out of him. Naruto was breathing heavily. "Thank Kami, I finished the seals in time." Naruto gasped as Gaara's body started to expand and grow. Soon enough, the creature was as tall as the arena itself. Naruto cursed when he saw its foot coming down towards him. He jumped out of the way and was grabbed by its massive hands. The blonde felt crushing force overwhelm him and could hear painful cracking noises. Soon pain coursed through his entire being. Gaara then threw the blonde to the ground and brought his foot above him for one last deadly crush. Naruto could only lay motionless with his entire body broken. When the foot came down he could only mutter, "I can't let Orochimaru's ambition die." Gaara laughed sadistically as he crushed the blonde. Suddenly, just as he thought it was over, red chakra coated his foot and exploded. The large creature stumbled backwards into a wall of the arena. His foot soon regenerated and he looked at where Naruto's lifeless corpse should be. When he noticed the blonde's absence, Gaara felt a dark and sinister chakra to his right. He turned and saw Naruto's body completely healed and covered with red chakra. The chakra continued to leak out of the blonde and soon he had a red tail of chakra behind him. What was more frightening was when the chakra in front of him grew into a shape of its own. It was about the size of Gaara when it stopped growing. Naruto did an odd hand seal and the body solidified. Even in his Shikaku state, Gaara took a step back at the sight. Before him stood a red three-tailed fox about the size of a building and on its head was Naruto with one chakra tail. Naruto had a sickening grin on his face and the fox looked at Gaara. When it spoke up, its voice was deep and seemed to make the ground tremble. Come out Shikaku. Gaara could hear the voice in his head pushing him to use a certain jutsu. The red head appeared on the Shikaku's head and made a hand sign and screamed out Tanuki Nairi no Jutsu. When he fell asleep, the creature's golden eyes seemed to come to life. Yeah. I'm free. The Shikaku laughed wildly, but stopped abruptly when it saw the fox. Said fox growled in annoyance. On the Shikaku's head stood Gaara whose head was down as he was sleeping and on the Kyuubi's head Naruto looked at the Shikaku with a dark smile. Said creature laughed again. Only 3 tails Kyuubi? Ha! Not able to use your full power. Shut up worm. That's 2 tails more than you'll ever have. Shikaku growled at the insult and ran towards the Kyuubi. The red fox planted his claws in the creature's back and bit him in the shoulder. The Shikaku yelled in pain and lifted the fox into the air, then threw him out of the arena and into the village, creating a large cloud of dust under the destruction it had just caused. From within the stand, Kakashi's eyes were wide after what he had just seen. No, we're doomed. Jiraiya and Erasure were walking in a dark corridor looking for a door. They had defeated quite a few shinobi and were now in the mountains looking for the civilians, making sure they were safe. When they arrived at a door, Jiraiya knocked and a voice was heard from the inside. What's the password? Burning leaf. The door opened and a scarred Chunin greeted the two. Jiraiya-sama. I'm glad you're here. We were just about to decide the next plan of action. Beside Jiraiya, Erasure looked curious and asked the question. Are all the civilians here? Yes, every last one. Hey, who are you? I'm Erasure. I don't remember seeing you before. A few jounin turned their heads and stared in amazement at the boy. Ibiki, who was standing beside a few jounin giving them orders, gasped. Impossible, Yondaime. Jiraiya looked at them and said, I don't know how, but somehow one of Orochimaru's lackeys used the jutsu to bring him through time. The jounin visibly flinched. Are you sure it's not a genjutsu or a henge? Yes, I tried dispelling and attacking and he stayed the same. Ibiki stroked his chin then sighed. This isn't the time to be dealing with this, we have to handle the invading forces first. Hi. Just then a Hyuga who had his Byakugan active and looked at the boy gasped. Sir, the boy with my Byakugan, his eyes aren't blue. What are you talking about? I can't see the exact color but they have a red circlet in them. Jiraiya tensed at the words. Oh no. He turned to Erasure and found the boy chuckling. You. The blonde's blue orbs turned dark purple and the red circlets appeared. The circlets were spinning, and then slowly stopped. When they did, the boy disappeared and in his place stood Kaosu. The man's gaze went from Jiraiya to the jounin who had drawn weapons. Every shinobi seemed to be frozen under the gaze of the eyes. Kaosu looked back at Jiraiya and spoke in his hollow voice. You were careless for a Sannin. The first ability of my Akumigan is to let me see inside a person's memories, and then trick that person's mind into thinking it sees a person, from the victim's past. Afterwards, anyone who comes into contact with you is also manipulated into seeing from your point of view. A useful ability against people who aren't able to let go of someone's memory. But I killed you. That was a simple trick. I used a jutsu to wipe a Sand Shinobi's mind and make him henge into me. From there you can figure out the rest. Jiraiya chuckled. You're obviously quite skilled to be able to trick a Sannin, but why go through all the trouble? Kaosu simply turned his gaze to where the civilians were sitting. Jiraiya followed it and understood. So that I would lead you to them. He saw Kaosu start makind hand seals at blinding speed and yelled no. I won't let you. He ran towards the cloaked ninja but was too slow. Kuro Shihiki no Jutsu. Jiraiya was pushed back by the barrier that surrounded Kaosu. The cloaked man then made more hand seals. This time, Jiraiya recognized the pattern. Oh no, everybody move! The civilians screamed in panic and were all trying to get out. Only a few managed to make it out before Katan Bakuden no Jutsu. The mountain where the Hokage faces were carved exploded. Where the once peaceful village of Konoha stood, now stood a battlefield. Shinobi from both sides were fighting and dying. Most of the village, though, was being destroyed by the two demons' battle. Kyuubi had more power in times of chakra but Shikaku was less restrained by his seal. The fox once again blew a fireball towards the Tanuki who simply blew it away with a large gust of wind. The attack crashed into another part of the village, effectively destroying everything that was still standing. The fox then lunged at his opponent with a swipe of his claws. He caught the Shikaku in the chest but was then flipped into the air and thrown into a building. When he got back up, the Kyuubi opened his mouth and blew out a stream of fire. The fire consumed the few shinobi who were around them and burnt the other Biju's legs. The Kyuubi was running out of chakra and he knew it. He contacted the blonde who was in a trance-like state on his head. Listen up, boy. I won't last much longer, so I'm gonna get you close so that you can wake that kid up and stop that foolish Shikaku. But isn't your power unlimited? This should be a piece of cake for you. Fool, the seal is weakening me and pulling back my chakra. It seems this jutsu we developed has a time limit before the seal intervenes. I understand, alright. Get me close to Gaara. The Kyuubi ran towards the Shikaku and could already feel his chakra going down. He grabbed onto the Shikaku with his claws and Naruto jumped onto the Tanuki's head. The blonde pushed back the sand with the Kyuubi's chakra and punched Gaara in the face. When he did, both demons stopped moving. The first to cry out was Shikaku. Damn you! I just got Uat. The Kyuubi seemed to grin and then growled. His entire body turned into chakra and returned to the seal, causing Naruto to scream in pain. When the pain passed, he looked at Gaara. They both stood there until the Shikaku's body turned to sand and crumbled away. Both genin jumped at each other in one last attack. They both punched the other. They then landed on the ground in a painful crash. Naruto knew his chakra was on the border of being empty, so he used a bit more of the Kyuubi's chakra to help himself move and maybe fight a little more. He walked to Gaara, who just laid on his back, looking up at the sky. He's just like me. Gaara, I know what it's like to have people hate you, to be alone, but I found people who accepted me and valued how powerful I was. Find people like that and you'll understand. Gaara looked at him and thought to himself. People who accept him, is that why he's so strong? Suddenly Gaara's siblings appeared beside him. Kankuro looked at Gaara in disbelief and Temari at Naruto with a similar expression. They took fighting stances, but Gaara stopped them. Temari, Kankuro, it's done, let's leave. They looked at him in shock, then grabbed him and left. Naruto sighed and started running towards what was left of the arena. When he arrived, he sensed that Orochimaru was in danger. It can't be, could that old man actually pose a threat to Orochimaru-sama? He was about to jump up to the roof of the tower where the fight was taking place when he saw Dosu, who was still fighting in the stands. Of his opponents, Chuji was knocked out, Ino was on the ground barely conscious. The only ones still fighting were Shikamaru and Sakura, who both looked out of breath. Naruto decided to help his teammate before going up to Orochimaru. He jumped up to the stands and blocked a kunai Sakura had thrown. He looked at Dosu and smirked. Having trouble? Shut up, Naruto, it was 4-on-1. True, alright, I'll handle the girl and you take that lazy ass. Hi. Naruto ran towards Sakura and blocked all her attacks with his kunai. He then batted her kunai out of her hand and jumped backwards. He looked at her with a dark smile. Please, Naruto, enough of this, I am sorry. I never meant to say what I did that day. So please stop it. Naruto's eyes went wide at her words. His smile disappeared and he had an angry look and growled. I've had enough of you. He pulled out his sword and ran towards her, holding it in a stabbing motion. Naruto, you won't do it, you're a good person. I still believe in. Sakura stopped talking and looked down at her stomach. Naruto's sword went through her. When he pulled it out, blood poured out. She fell in his arms and sobbed. Now are you two? He dropped her to the ground and looked at her eyes, which turned empty and lifeless. Goodbye, Sakura. For the genin who were still awake, it was as if time stopped. Ino cried out and started crying. Shikamaru fell into a sitting position. On the other side of the arena, Kakashi and Guy turned at the scream and gasped. Kakashi felt an incredible rage build up in him. I've lost all my students. He looked at Naruto and charged a Chidori in his hand. And it's all because of you. Naruto charged a Rasengan and met his old sensei's attack. The explosion sent Naruto crashing into a wall and sent Kakashi into Guy's arms. The silver-haired Jounin had used too much chakra and was out cold. Naruto slowly got up, drawing on even more of the Kyuubi's chakra to make it to where Orochimaru was fighting, and was followed by Dosu. Guy simply set Kakashi into a chair and closed the dead Kunoichi's eyes. When the two sound genin made it to the roof, they realized that there were 3 Embu there. The leader turned to them and shook his head. I don't have time to deal with this. He turned to his 2 partners. The battle will be over soon, so let's save our strength. Naruto walked to the barrier and faintly heard Orochimaru cry out in pain. Orochimaru-sama. Dosu grabbed his arm before he could run into the barrier. Fool, there's nothing we can do, don't do anything reckless. Naruto broke free of his grip and fell to his knees. Dosu shook his head and sighed. Damn it, Naruto, that's enough, you're out of chakra. No, I must help Orochimaru-sama. He tried to draw out more of the Kyuubi's chakra but felt a terrible pain. He clutched his stomach and cried out in pain. Naruto! What's wrong? The blonde tried to get up but couldn't. He then heard the Kyuubi's vochi. That's enough, boy, your body can't handle anymore. You've already used up too much. If you keep going you could die. Naruto stopped trying to use more chakra and simply waited for the barrier to disappear. When it did, he saw Taiyuya, Jirubo, Kidomaru and Sakan run in and get the Odokage. When they had him, they jumped out and attacked the Umbu while escaping. Dosu grabbed Naruto and jumped up after them. At the sudden movement, Naruto felt more pain in his body. Not far ahead of them, Orochimaru was being supported by Jirubo and Sakan. Taiyuya and Kidomaru were fighting off the Umbu. Naruto tried to say something to Dosu but instead coughed up blood. Dosu turned and gasped. Naruto! What the hell is going on? The seal. Dosu understood and just to be sure lifted Naruto's shirt to see the seal. What he saw him shocked him. Naruto was burned at several places and the area around the seal was bleeding. What the hell is happening? Dosu was interrupted as one of the pursuing Ambu kicked him in the face, making lose his hold on Naruto. Naruto! Tayuya, who wasn't far, heard him and saw her teammate falling. She quickly changed her course and caught Naruto. She looked at his pain expression and held him tight as they returned to the others. Are you alright, Naruto? I'll be fine. When they caught up to the group with Dosu, Orochimaru turned his head and looked at Naruto. They both then looked down at the village of Konoha. It was completely in ruins, beyond repair. The dead littered the streets, the buildings and houses were destroyed and the Hokage monuments were destroyed. Both Naruto and Orochimaru chuckled and soon started laughing madly at the destruction. Chapter 15. Resistance created. Akatsuki revealed. Two men wearing black cloaks with red clouds on them were walking through the ruins of Konoha. The taller, shark-like one seemed to be shocked. His partner was slowly scanning the rubble for signs of what had happened. Hey Itachi, what the hell happened here? The Sharingan user kept an expressionless face and pointed to a body lying a few meters ahead from him. Kisame looked at it and growled. Orochimaru's army, hee, that's interesting. The boy is not here. Okay, but where is he? Knowing the snake, he would have taken the boy with him. Well then let's pay Oto a little visit. The shark man got an evil grin. But Jiraiya-sama, we must do something. If we tried to attack Otogekure now, we would all be killed. The white-haired Sannin was currently arguing with a Konoha Jounin over what to do now that the village was destroyed. They stood in a small room, which looked to be underground. But sir, we have to get revenge. That's enough. Attacking them now would be throwing away the lives of everyone who survived. Forgive me, Jiraiya-sama. Jiraiya sighed and walked out of the room they had been standing in and into a much larger area. Inside there were many Konoha shinobi who were sitting, talking or eating. Jiraiya got a small smile. We were lucky to have so many survivors. And this base of operations remained undiscovered. The Leaf survivors were in a secret hideout that had been built a few years before for just such an event. It was hidden underground a fair distance from the village. It was built as a place of refuge in time of war, and could hold hundreds of people. In Konoha, an important rule of war was that if a battle was lost, instead of throwing their lives away for no purpose, shinobi were to regroup here and design a new battle plan. When the sound shinobi, along with the sand, had destroyed most of the village, Konoha shinobi had escorted surviving civilians to this place and waited for orders from the Hokage. When he did not come, they came to a sad realization. Luckily, a few hours later, Jiraiya arrived with a group of civilians he had saved from Kausa's attack. With a barrier of his own, he was able to save at least 2/3 of the civilians. Sadly, the others were killed by the explosion. Jiraiya also had to hold the barrier until the invading forces were gone. Some had remained but were quickly dispatched by Leaf Nin. The village may have survived the attack had it not been for the battle between the Kyuubi vessel and the Shikaku. That was another thing that was troubling Jiraiya. Naruto had been able to summon the Kyuubi. How had he done it? Regardless, the Gamma Sennin was currently acting as head of operations for the time being. He looked at the crowd of survivors and cleared his throat, drawing attention to himself. Listen up. I will not be able to remain here for much longer. I have something important I must check up on. One of the Leaf Nin stood up and slammed his fist on a table. More important than this? What the hell could mean more important than getting vengeance against those bastards? Well, to be honest, I wouldn't be a very good leader, therefore I am going to go find someone who can handle the situation better. Afterwards I will keep my spies on Orochimaru's plans and continue helping the resistance. Another Jounin stood up and yelled, who could lead the resistance better than you? Jiraiya smiled and closed his eyes. Tsunade. There were gasps from the crowd and many agreed with his plan. Jiraiya looked at them. In the meantime, I will leave Ibiki and Anko in charge. Understood? There was a collective hi. Jiraiya sighed and walked into another room. Let's just hope she agrees. In Otogekure, people were cheerful and many celebrated the invasion's success. Unfortunately, the Otokage himself was not in such a good mood. In fact, he had just killed one of his subjects when the man had tried to give him medicine. Kabuto walked in and shook his head when he saw the corpse. Orochimaru-sama, you must take your medicine and stop killing your subjects. Besides, I made it myself. The snake Sannin sneered at the man. Your medicine won't cure these arms, that damn Sarutobi. I never would have suspected him to be capable of putting me in such a state. Kabuto put the medicine on the bedside table with a twisted smile. Luckily for us, the Leaf Village is no more. Orochimaru let a pained grin appear on his face. Yes, I have destroyed it, Kukuku. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. A frightened voice came from outside. Oh, Orochimaru-sama, you have a visitor. Kabuto spoke for his master. The Otokage will have no visitors at the moment. The two men heard a small apology, followed by a sickly cracking noise and then a thump. The door opened and a dark figure could be seen in the shadows of the corridor. Piercing violet eyes stared at the two and the blood-red circlet almost looked like it was bleeding in anger. Kabuto felt a chill go up his spine but stood his ground. Orochimaru will have no visi. The silver-haired man was grabbed by the neck and tossed away. Orochimaru, in his weakened state, could only smile evilly at his visitor. Ah, Kausa, I wanted to tell you how proud I was of your work in Konoha. Kausa spoke in a deep, venomous voice. His killing intent could be felt throughout the entire tower. Don't play games with me, Snake. I am not one of your little ninja puppets. I did my job and now I want fair payment. Orochimaru's smile faltered. I instructed a shinobi to pay you whatever you asked. Did he not comply? He refused adamantly, and so I killed him. Now I will ask it of you directly. I want fair payment. That insolent fool, you did well to kill him. Tell me what is the payment you require. At his next words, Orochimaru's smile disappeared completely. I want your Akatsuki ring. Why the hell would you want that? My reasons are my own. Now I suggest you just give me the ring or else I'll have to use other measures. The snake Sannin suddenly realized that he was in complete darkness, and he could only see Kausa's eyes. Then, an idea came to him. Release your genjutsu and I will tell you an even better idea. Candlelight returned and Orochimaru grinned sickly at the man. If you want an Akatsuki ring, follow Naruto Uzumaki. Sooner or later Itachi Uchiha will come to find him. Kausa's eyes seemed to gleam with amusement for an instant, but then his voice returned to its neutral, cold tone. Itachi Uchiha, I accept your offer, Orochimaru. Let us hope you are right. Orochimaru blinked and the cloaked figure was gone. Kabuto slowly got up with a pissed-off look. Orochimaru-sama, that man is a serious annoyance. Why don't you just kill him? A troubled expression appeared on the Otogeki's pale face. I don't think I could. Deep in Otogeki's forest, Naruto was laying on his back. On top of him was Tayuya, who was kissing him passionately. She started removing his shirt, when a voice stopped her. It seems this brat is more mature than he looks. Both of the teenagers jumped to their feet with kunais in hand. Before them stood two men in Akatsuki cloaks. The taller one grinned. Sorry to interrupt, but we're taking you with us, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto grinned evilly and looked at the shark man's teammate. You must be Uchiha Itachi if you want to visit your pathetic brother. He's locked up in a cell in the village. If Itachi felt anything at the comment, he didn't show it. Naruto, I'd advise you came with us. Suddenly he was behind Naruto and hit him with a single finger, sending him into a tree. He then dodged Tayuya's attack and punched her in the stomach. She wouldn't be getting up anytime soon. He approached Naruto when, suddenly, he was staring directly in dark violet eyes. Two blood-red circlets were spinning wildly. Itachi activated his Sharingan. He attempted to punch the man in the stomach. His eyes widened slightly when a gloved hand grabbed his wrist and successfully blocked the attack. Kisame seemed slightly amused. Oh my, someone who can keep up with you, Itachi. Maybe this will be more interesting than we thought. Itachi then sent a barrage of kicks and punches at amazing speeds. To his surprise, they were all blocked. He then punched again and Kausa grabbed his wrist once more. The Akumigan user then twisted his body and blocked another Itachi's attack with his knee. Kausa followed it up by kicking a third bunshin in the stomach. He then released the first Itachi and flipped into the air, making hand signs. Kuro Kusari no Jutsu, Dark Chain Jutsu. A chain made of a dark fire came out of Kausa's sleeve and went through all the Itachi clones' stomachs, dispelling them. It then went behind Kausa and towards the Uchiha. Itachi was forced to evade and flip sideways. The chain finally consumed itself and vanished. Itachi landed next to his opponent and looked at him straight into the eyes, activating his Manjikyu Sharingan. Kausa's eyes widened as the sky turned red. He then realized he was in a different dimension, and time stopped. The cloaked man tried to move but found himself unable to. He was stuck on a cross. Itachi appeared before him with a sword. In the world of Tsukiyomi, I control time and space. For the next 72 hours, I will repeatedly stab you through the heart. Itachi went to stab his opponent but was stopped when Kausa's gloved hand stopped his blade. Itachi was, for once in his life, shocked. He locked eyes with his adversary and his eyes widened again. The violet eyes had turned pitch black, leaving only the blood-red circle and another smaller red circle within it. Even within the shadows of the hood, Itachi could see Kausa's dark grin. Said man chuckled evilly. No Uchiha in the world of Tsukiyomi, we share time and space. The red sky turned pitch black and a red moon appeared, casting a more sinister crimson light on them. Itachi smiled slightly. I see you possess the true ability of the Akumigan. Just as I possess the true power of my Sharingan. Kausa nodded and got into a stance. This will be a worthy battle. For 72 hours, Itachi and Kausa fought. When they returned to the normal world, both fighters seemed tired. Kisame looked at Itachi and smirked. Well, if you're having trouble, why don't I take the kid? He ran towards Naruto, but the Uchiha's voice stopped him. Kisame, I have used up too much strength, we will retreat for now. The shark man muttered a curse but disappeared in a swirl of leaves with Itachi. Naruto looked confusedly at the spot where they had been standing. He then sighed and ran to Tayuya's side. Hey Tayuya, are you okay? Yeah, I just need to rest. The blonde put her on his back and walked to the village after noticing that Kausa had disappeared. Who the hell was that? In Suna, the council was having a hard time coming to a conclusion on what they were to do. On the way back, Baki found the body of the Kazekage and evidence that he was killed by Orochimaru. I say that we help the Leaf survivors and try to form a peace treaty. That's foolish. Otogekyur is the stronger village now, we should remain aligned with them. Fool! Have you forgotten that it was them who murdered Kazekage-sama? Baki sighed and stood up. All talk stopped, and the council looked at him. Listen, we have lost many shinobi in the invasion and even our Kazekage. We cannot stay with Otogekyur. But right now, Konoha isn't active. Therefore, we must strengthen our forces before making any drastic decisions. Baki is right, I side with him on this matter. Slowly the council came to accept the suggestion to wait before making the drastic decision, and in the meantime strengthen their forces. Now another important matter is electing a new Kazekage. Naruto brought Tayuya to her home, where she could rest. He then made his way to Orochimaru's chamber. Before arriving he stopped in front of a dark cell. He looked inside and smirked. "Hello, Sasuke." The Uchiha lifted high head and glared at the blonde. "You bastard, if you think I will join you and that snake in this madness you are wrong. Oh, I believe you will. Orochimaru-sama could train you. He could make you strong enough to kill your brother. You could avenge your clan and rebuild it here in Odogekure. You would be a powerful shinobi. More powerful than if you could ever become in Konoha." An evil grin appeared on the blonde's face. "Power, is that not what you crave? Power to destroy Itachi?" Sasuke was shaking. "Leave me alone. Just think about it, Sasuke." He left the raven-haired boy with a smirk on his face. "You will join us, Sasuke, and then you will become Orochimaru's new body." The blonde made it to Orochimaru's chamber, and heard a cry of pain. He ran in and understood what happened. Orochimaru looked at him, and smiled slightly. "Naruto, I was just about to send someone to get you." "Orochimaru-sama, in the forest I encountered Uchiha Itachi and his—" "Yes, I know, Naruto. I trust Kousa handled them." "That weird man?" "Yes, he did, but who is he?" "He is an ally for now, Naruto. In due time I will go into details. Right now, though, we must heal my arms." "How are we going to that?" "You are going to come with me and Kabuto to meet an old friend." "Who?" "Kakuku Tsunade." Chapter 16, Search for Tsunade. Naruto, Kabuto and Orochimaru were running at a fast pace through the forest separating Odogekure and a small village. The blonde boy turned to Orochimaru, who was covered in sweat. He then turned back to the path and let his thoughts wander to the events that had taken place before leaving. Flashback. Naruto was walking towards Orochimaru's room to see if he was ready to leave on their mission to find Tsunade. His head lifted at the sound of a scream of pain. "That sounds like Sasuke." The blonde ran to the small cell where they were holding the last Uchiha. Upon his arrival, Naruto gasped at the sight of Sasuke clutching his neck and Orochimaru wiping blood off his mouth. The Otokage turned to his student. "Naruto, as you can see, I just placed a curse seal on this boy. Therefore, if he survives like you did, I will take his body as my own. In the meantime, we will go seek out Tsunade Heim. If she heals my arms and Sasuke dies, it won't be a complete failure, and vice versa." Naruto smiled. "Hi, Orochimaru-sama. It is a good plan. We should go now, though. Kabuto-san reported that he has tracked down Tsunade in a nearby village, and that he would meet us at the main gate." And so the two sound ninja left the village. End flashback. Naruto felt uneasy about Sasuke having a chance at surviving the jutsu. "I should have killed him when I had the chance." The blonde's thoughts were suddenly interrupted. He looked up to see that they had exited the forest, and were heading towards an old castle. Kabuto smirked. "She's down there, Orochimaru-sama. I can see her. Kakuka, let's make a good entrance then." Kabuto's smirk widened and he ran blood on Orochimaru's left arm. Kuchios no Jutsu. Summoning Jutsu. Tsunade had a bad feeling all day. First, when she won all her games at the casino. Second, when a man she owed money to canceled her debt. And third, when a giant snake crushed the old castle Shizen was looking at. The voice that followed the explosion sent a chill up her spine. "Kakuka, it's been a while, Tsunadeheim." She slowly turned around and found herself only a few meters away from her old teammate. Shizen looked at the man and got into a fighting stance. Tsunade looked at the man standing beside Orochimaru. He had a serious expression and was wearing glasses. "What do you want, Orochimaru? I'm sure you didn't just come here to say hello." "Kakuka, true, I actually want you to do me a favor." "Like what?" "Heal my arms." The slug Sanin's eyes widened at the sight of the black decaying arms. "How the hell did that happen?" "Kakuka, when I killed the Sandaime Hokage." Tsunade gasped and took a step back. Her apprentice was shaking. "You attacked Konoha?" "Well, yes, and then I destroyed it." Shizen cried out in disbelief. "No! You couldn't have." The black-haired woman ran towards the snake Sannin, who only smirked. Suddenly, Naruto appeared in between Orochimaru and his attacker. The blonde kicked the girl in the chin, sending back to Tsunade's side. She was about to attack again, when Tsunade stopped her. "Shizen, that's enough. Tsunade-sama." The blonde woman looked at the blonde-haired boy and her eyes widened slightly. "That's the Kyuubi child." She quickly regained her composure and started to turn away. "I decline. I'm offering to bring back your little brother and your lover with the jutsu I created." Tsunade stopped dead in her tracks. She turned back to Orochimaru with wide eyes. "Nawaki and Dan? Hi Tsunade, all you have to do is heal my arms and then you can finally be reunited with your loved ones." Shizen looked at Tsunade. "Tsunade-sama. You can't actually be considering this. My brother wouldn't want this. Think of the village." Tsunade's expression darkened. "Shut up, Shizen. Orochimaru, what do you plan to do if I return your arms?" "I plan to destroy any survivors of Konoha, and then slowly conquer the shinobi nations." Shizen growled and got into a fighting stance. "Come on, Tsunade-sama. Together we can take them." At those words, Orochimaru smirked. He bit his finger and let blood drop to the ground, causing Tsunade to pale and fall to her knees. Shizen ran to her side and supported her. "Kakuka, foolish girl, I know her ultimate weakness." Kabuto smirked and supported Orochimaru. So she's afraid of blood? Interesting, we don't expect your answer yet, Tsunade. We will return here in a week. If you agree, you must bring 2 sacrifices for the jutsu. The 3 sound ninja jumped backwards and were soon out of sight. To say Jiraiya was surprised at the sight of the ruined castle and the shouts of giant snakes would be an understatement. His jaw was currently hanging, he was so surprised. Damn, here I come looking for Tsunade and I end up finding the remains of a meeting with Orochimaru. Well, at least I know she's here. Ah man. Why did we have to get dragged into this? Arf. Jiraiya sighed. With him, Team 8 consisting of Kiba, Hinata, Shino and their Jounin sensei Kurai had been sent to assure the mission's success, as the elders put it. Much help they're gonna be against Orochimaru. Jiraiya looked at the team and sighed again. The Inuzuka boy was too overconfident, the Hyuga girl lacked confidence, and the Aburame kid was just plain weird. Alright, you slackers. We need to find Tsunade, so get it moving. Naruto was currently walking through the Otokage temple. He wasn't sure where to go when, suddenly, he heard a flute playing. He smiled and walked towards the sound. He saw a certain redhead sitting in a chair with her eyes closed, too occupied with her music to hear the blonde. Tayuya jumped slightly as she felt a pair of strong arms encircle her waist. She smiled as she was pulled on to Naruto's lap. She turned her head and looked into the boy's blue eyes. She kissed him on the nose and giggled as he kissed her on the neck. Ahem. Both teens jolted upright and turned to see who had disturbed them. They both turned red when they saw Kimimaro. Orochimaru-sama wishes to see you, Naruto. Hi. When he entered the Sanin's office, he took a seat. You wanted to see me, Orochimaru-sama? Hi, I wanted to give you this. He handed him a dark purple Chunin vest. On the back was the kanji for elite. Naruto, you may not be a member of the Sound 5 yet, but this is a Chunin elite vest. Chunin elite? Hi, anyone wearing an elite vest has a position of power in the village. I don't give these to just anyone, only to people who have proved to be powerful, loyal and useful to me. People who see this will know that you are one of my personal ninja. You outrank regular Chunin and Jounin and take orders directly from me or someone of higher rank. So I'm on basically the same level as the Sound 5? In a way. The Sound 5 carry out only the most secret missions and protect me in war. In war, you would be in command of a small regiment of soldiers. Now then, get ready, we will be visiting Tsunade in a few days. Hi! Once Naruto was out of the room, Orochimaru chuckled. Kukuku, a powerful, loyal and useful shinobi. Jiraiya sighed as he walked through the small village with Team 8. They had spent the whole afternoon searching for Tsunade and had finished with nothing. What was especially worrying the Sannin was that Orochimaru might have already found her. He looked at a small restaurant and smiled. Alright, let's go and eat here. As they walked in, Jiraiya scanned the tables for a place to sit and landed on a particular blonde woman. Their eyes locked. After about 10 seconds of staring, they both pointed and yelled, Tsunade! Jiraiya! Team 8 looked at the woman, and Kiba's mouth hung open. That's Tsunade! Look at! He was shut up by a glare from Kurai. They went and sat down at the same table. Jiraiya looked at her and began his story. And so the council wants to make you leader of our resistance. In other words, you want me to become Hokage. Hi, I refuse. Shizen's look of fear did not escape Jiraiya's eyes. Kiba looked at Tsunade and growled, the old hag is scared. Tsunade's glare turned on him and she muttered, what was that, kid? I said you were scared, old hag. Tsunade put one foot on the table and yelled, let's take this outside. Once they were outside, Jiraiya, Shino, Hinata, Kurai and Shizen all shook their heads. Alright, let's go, Akamaru. No one insults the village like that. Arf. Within 2 seconds both partners found themselves on the ground with bruises and cuts. Damn, she's strong. Had enough, kid? No. I ain't giving up. Tsunade suddenly froze but soon turned angry, punched the boy again, knocking him out. She then turned to Jiraiya. Give me a while to think about this. Later on that night, Jiraiya sat down at a small bar beside Tsunade. Listen, Tsunade, I don't know what it is that Orochimaru offered you, but believe me when I say that he won't go along with his word. Why was the Kyuubi child with him? Jiraiya got a pained look on his face. That boy was driven away by the village. Orochimaru took that opportunity to take him. Since then, Naruto has changed into a completely different kid. He's an enemy who must be destroyed. I see. Tsunade walked away, caught up in her thoughts and the decision she had to make. The days went on until it was time. The slug Sannin had poisoned Jiraiya's drink the night before and knocked Shizen out. The black-haired woman was woken up by Team 8 in the morning. She panicked, and once Jiraiya arrived in his weakened state, she explained to them what happened when they had met Orochimaru. Jiraiya cursed under his breath and turned, thinking he sensed someone's chakra. Shizen sighed and looked at them all. We must go find Tsunade-sama. Hi! They started on their way, unaware that Kabuto had spied on them and left to warn Orochimaru. So Tsunade, what is your answer? I will heal your arms, but you must promise to leave the Konoha survivors alone. As you wish. The blonde Sannin walked towards her old teammate, and charged green chakra into her palms. She was about to touch his arms, when a kunai landed in between them, causing them to jump back. They looked up to see Kabuto. Orochimaru's smile vanished. So you chose to betray me, Tsunade-sama? Even after I promised not to touch the survivors and to revive your loved ones? I know that they wouldn't have wanted this. I was foolish to believe you would hold up your end of the bargain, but those Konoha genin, they reminded me of my origins. That's why you are going to die here, Orochimaru. Kabuto appeared beside Orochimaru. Orochimaru-sama, some unwanted visitors are on their way, including another Sannin, Jiraiya. I suggest we take this fight to a more open area. It's too cramped here. Alright then. They ran a small distance to an open field, all the while avoiding Tsunade's deadly strikes. When they arrived, Naruto was waiting for them. Naruto, let Kabuto handle Tsunade. I will need you when the Konoha nin arrive. Naruto's grin turned predatory. Konoha nin, just what I felt like slaughtering. Kabuto had just recovered from an attack on his nervous system when the Konoha ninja arrived. Jiraiya looked at Tsunade, and then Orochimaru. Well, what a reunion. Tsunade was slightly taken aback by their arrival. You all came, Kiba smiled. We won't let our next Hokage go in battle alone. Tsunade felt a smile tug at her lips and then looked at Kabuto seriously. You guys stay out of this. She ran to Kabuto, bringing her fist back for a punch. Kabuto smirked. It's a shame, because now I am at 100%. He made a cut in his hand and let the blood drip out into Tsunade's face. The Sannin was paralyzed in fear and soon fell to her knees in a severe trauma. The Leaf Genin looked at her in shock and Shizen caught her after Kabuto kicked her in the stomach. Jiraiya clenched his teeth and looked at Orochimaru in anger, and let his gaze go to the boy next to him. His eyes widened when he saw Naruto wearing Otogekyu's elite vest. The boy looked at him with a vicious smile. I guess I can take them on now, Orochimaru-sama? Go ahead. The blonde elite unsheathed his blade and got into his stance. Jiraiya knew the Leaf Genin couldn't handle him when he saw curse seal marks cover the boy's body. Naruto's grin widened. It has been so long since I last felt the power of my curse seal. He ran towards the small group at high speeds and Jiraiya cursed loudly. The Genin were so caught up with helping Tsunade, they never saw him coming. Shino suddenly felt the large chakra and threw himself to the side as Naruto's blade swept past him. Kiba turned around and saw the blonde traitor. He got into a stance. Uzumaki. Today we take you down for your crimes against our village. Let's go, Akamaru. The Inuzuka and his partner, who had turned into a clone of him, ran towards Naruto. Getsuga. Naruto evaded every attack and then made hand signs. Kaze-tama, wind bullet. Kiba was struck right in the chest and then saw Naruto appear beside his dog and kick it hard. Naruto felt a spike of chakra to his left and swiftly avoided Shino's jutsu. He ran to the bug user and drop-kicked him in the stomach. He then turned to Hinata, who was shaking uncontrollably. His eyes flashed in amusement, and before she could react, he appeared behind her and knocked her out. He laughed out loud and jumped out of the way as Kurai attempted to hit him. She made a few hand signs and Naruto felt a weird plant grow behind him and wrap around his body. Kurai emerged from the plant with a kunai in her hand. She was about to strike, but Naruto simply grinned. He disappeared with a poof of smoke and was replaced by a log. For a jounin, you are quite careless. The Oto Nin appeared behind Kurai and brought down his blade upon her head. She also disappeared with a poof and was replaced by Jiraiya, who had a Rinnegan charged in his hand. Naruto cursed but couldn't evade in time, and cried out as the ball of energy was pushed into his stomach. He fell to the ground apparently unconscious. Jiraiya sighed and turned to Kurai, who was tending to her students. She was about to thank him but was kicked in the chin by Kabuto. The medic Nin then grabbed her by the throat and threw her into a rock. You're weak for a jounin. Maybe you need a bit of motivation. He was about to stomp Kiba's head but felt a hand grab his leg. He looked up and his eyes widened at the sight of Tsunade. I won't let you hurt any more, Konoha shinobi. She punched him in the face, sending him flying into a rock close to Orochimaru. The silver-haired medic ninja slowly got up and stood beside Orochimaru. Orochimaru-sama, shall we bring him out? Hi, it's time we turn this up a notch. Kabuto smeared blood over Orochimaru's arm and made hand signs. Jiraiya cursed and made his own hand seals, muttering, please work. Tsunade also made hand seals and they all yelled in unison. Kuchios no Jutsu, summoning jutsu. The field was covered in smoke, but it soon dispersed, revealing the three boss summons. Gamabunta, Manda and Katsuyu. The three Sannin stared at each other, and then Tsunade yelled, after today there will be one less Sannin in the world. Gamabunta growled, so Manda and Orochimaru? I guess I'll help you for this, Jiraiya. Manda's reptilian eyes looked up at Orochimaru. How dare you summon to this place, Orochimaru? This will require 1,000 sacrifices. Kabuto didn't want the snake to realize Orochimaru was in a weakened state. Please, Manda-san, you will be compensated for this. Who gave you the right to speak, worm? Unfortunately, their argument was cut short as Gamabunta brought his blade down above them. Manda evaded easily and wrapped around Katsuyu, who was coming from behind. The snake cursed loudly when the slug broke into many slugs and escaped. He turned to Gamabunta, who spat oil. Jiraiya smiled and yelled, Katan, Kukaku no Jutsu. The flames caught on the oil and soon the snake was consumed. Both Jiraiya and his summon cursed when they saw that the snake had shed his skin and dodged the attack. The snake came from the ground and bit the toad in the neck. Katsuyu approached them and knocked the snake back. Gamabunta then brought down his blade into the snake's mouth. Tsunade smiled and jumped onto the snake's head. She punched the man and sent him flying to the ground. She jumped back on Katsuyu and both the slug and the toad moved to crush Orochimaru. They were taken aback when a blonde boy appeared over Orochimaru, shielding him. Orochimaru saw the boy's blood-red eyes and smirked. Naruto, can you take them? I have one jutsu. It should work. Kakuku, I see, then by all means, go ahead. Naruto smiled evilly. He made hand signs and made a cut on his stomach. He concentrated before yelling, Akuma Kuchios no Jutsu, Demon Summoning Jutsu. Everyone froze as red chakra seeped out of the seal and took the form of a fox. It grew and the chakra began to ravage the land around it. A red chain formed in the seal and linked Naruto to the chakra, which took the shape of the Kyuubi. The nine-tailed fox stood proudly, towering over the other summons, four tails behind him. Naruto smiled wickedly and soon laughed out loud. Tsunade felt fear consume her, and Jiraiya couldn't believe what he was seeing. He summoned the Kyuubi. The Kyuubi's blood-red eyes locked onto Gamabunta, and his sharp teeth formed a grin. Hello, Toad. Kyuubi. Well then, shall we begin? The Toad let out a battle cry and ran towards the fox with his sword in a stabbing motion. The Kyuubi simply slammed his tails into the Toad and sent his opponent crashing to the ground. The beast then slammed his clawed paw into Katsuyu, who disappeared in smoke. He slowly walked to Gamabunta and bit him in the back, drawing blood. The Toad then also vanished out of existence. Jiraiya looked at the great demon and suddenly realized his weakness. Tsunade! Destroy the chain. The slug Sannin ran on the creature's back, and when she got close enough, she mustered up all of her strength into one punch. The attack cracked the chain, but the red chakra held it together. Naruto appeared in front of her, a bloodthirsty look on his face. He punched her hard. She was sent into the ground below. The blonde grinned triumphantly. He cried out though, as he saw Jiraiya use a Rinnegan on the chain. The attack severed the large red chain and Naruto clutched his stomach as all the chakra returned to him. He soon fell to the ground, unconscious. Jiraiya sighed and pulled out a kunai. Just as he was about to bring it down on the boy, Orochimaru appeared in between them and kicked the Gamma Sannin away. Tsunade then appeared and punched Orochimaru in the face. That boy is too dangerous to be left alive, whispered the medic Nin. Just as she was about to crush the boy with her foot, Orochimaru's tongue wrapped around her leg and threw her into Jiraiya. The two Sannin looked at him in anger. Their expressions turned to shock when they saw part of his face crumble away and reveal a more feminine face. Jiraiya's expression darkened. That jutsu. Orochimaru laughed and began to melt into the ground. We will meet again, you cannot keep your little resistance hidden for long. As he disappeared, Kabuto grabbed Naruto and suddenly, a vicious smile appeared on his face. We will force you to come out. His gaze went to the three knocked out genin. He looked to the forest and called out, take those children as prisoners. 5 sound jounin jumped out of the forest and grabbed the genin. Kurai and Shizen tried to fight them but were overpowered easily. The 2 remaining Sannin were about to fight, but 5 more jounin appeared. Jiraiya cursed under his breath. Tsunade, we are too weakened and they have the numbers. I know, don't worry, we'll get them back someday. As the Oto ninjas disappeared into the forest with the prisoners, the remaining Konoha ninja all looked at each other. Kurai slammed her fist in the ground. We fell right into their trap, now we will have no choice then to reveal ourselves. It was nighttime in Suna, but all was not peaceful. A jounin appeared next to a certain redhead. Garasama, the council has announced that they will not align with Otogekure, and that they will help the Konoha resistance. More jounin gathered around the boy. I see, so they stand against me then? Hi, Garasama. The boy's emotionless eyes flashed in anger. Begin the attack, then kill anyone who opposes us. Hi. Chapter 17, Uprising. A full moon shone over the village of Suna on this night. An 18-year-old Chunin was walking home, seemingly unaware of the late hour. He continued his slow walk when a Sunagekure jounin appeared before him. Hey kid, isn't it a little late to be out? Hee, sorry sir, me and my friends were out at the Konoha support speech. The jounin's mouth contorted into a devilish grin. So you support the council's decision? You would go against Gaara? Against the next Kazekage? As if the council would ever let him be Kazekage. The jounin's expression twisted in anger. Then you are against the will of Garasama and must be dealt with. The jounin pulled out a kunai. When the boy saw it, he tried to scream, but found himself unable to, as the blade was embedded into his throat. As the lifeless body fell to the ground, another appeared. Both shinobi looked at each other and said, for Garasama. One of the council members quickly paced through the large room under the odd stare of the other council members. A jounin appeared and whispered something into his ear, causing the man to gasp. One of the seated men looked up in fear. Chairman? What's the matter? The chairman looked at him with his cold, angry glare. There's been another murder, he said in a low voice, with an underlying tone of great anger. There was a collective gasp from the council, which was soon replaced by shouts of outrage and confusion. The jounin standing behind the chairman slowly pulled out a kunai from within his vest and prepared to strike. Before anyone could blink, the chairman turned around swiftly, grabbed the jounin's hand and twisted it with a sickening crack. The jounin cried out in pain and dropped his weapon, catching everyone's attention. The chairman grabbed the ninja and pinned him against the wall. Who sent you? He said, his voice full of hatred. The jounin laughed loudly, ignoring the pain in his hand. For Kazekage-sama. He screamed as he revealed a vest full of explosive tags. Screams came from the chamber as the explosion went off. When the smoke cleared, many council members were injured and one was dead. Where the Jounin exploded, nothing remained but his ashes. One of the uninjured council members' eyes widened in shock at the sight before him. There stood the chairman, without a scratch. He looked at one of his assassin squad members and said, "Prepare all the shinobi who are still loyal to me and bring them to the main tower. Tonight blood will be shed. This is civil war. This is an uprising." On the other side of Sunagakure, Gaara stood with the many shinobi who were loyal to him. To his right stood Temari and to his left Kankuro. He looked at his siblings and said, "This will be dangerous, you do not have to fight with me." Temari smirked and replied in a rather dangerous voice, "Oh, don't worry Gaara, those council bastards need to be taught a lesson." Kankuro, on the other hand, did not seem as excited as his sister. He was listening to one of his men's reports, and suddenly yelled out in disbelief, "That's not possible." "Are you sure you saw right?" The man nodded affirmative. Gaara looked at his brother and asked, "What's wrong?" Kuji was forced to blow himself up along with the chairman. His sacrifice was worthy of this village's future. No, the chairman, who was closest to him, received not even a scratch. Gaara's eyes widened and Temari muttered a curse. "I thought he was supposed to be a weak man, always cowering behind others." Gaara seemed deep in thought. Suddenly, out of nowhere, an assassin appeared holding a hook-like blade. He nearly reached Gaara's neck but was pushed away by sand. The sand grabbed him his arms and legs, making him defenseless. Gaara looked at the man and spoke in his emotionless voice. "Did Chairman Dura send you?" The assassin's eyes widened with obvious insanity. "Yes, he said to return the gift to sender." Gaara's eyes widened as explosive tags became visible under the man's shirt. The explosion would have killed many, had it not been for Gaara's sand creating a large barrier. Kankuro sighed. Well, that was a waste. He didn't get the chance to finish his sentence when another assassin appeared behind him and latched onto his back. Kankuro tried to shake him off, but the man's grip was too strong. "Get off me, damn it!" Gaara suddenly realized what the shinobi was doing and tried to send his sand to help Kankuro. The assassin laughed as the explosive tags covering his body went off before the sand could reach them. The blast wasn't enough to block out Temari's scream. "Kankuro!" Naruto walked through the dark halls of Orochimaru's tower with a thoughtful expression on his face. He began mumbling to himself. "So Sasuke isn't dead yet, I wonder what Orochimaru plans to do with him." The blonde boy was pushed out of his thoughts as a Jounin appeared beside him. "Naruto-san, there is an emergency gathering in the Otokage chambers. You must head there at once." "An emergency gathering? I'll be there soon." "Hi!" As the ninja disappeared, Naruto began running towards the meeting. When he got through the door, he saw a tired-looking Orochimaru. Damn, his condition's getting worse. The snake Sannin looked at his pupil and then at the rest of the shinobi within the room. He cleared his throat and spoke. "The reason you have all been called here is because there is an important mission to be taken. It seems that there is an uprising in Sunagakure." Many whispers could be heard through the room, but they were all silenced by Orochimaru's hissing voice. "All of you are to help Gaara-san, the next Kazekage, win this battle." Naruto was confused and decided to voice his thoughts. "What happened in Suna?" All eyes fell on Naruto. Orochimaru smiled. "It seems that the Suna Council wishes to aid the Konoha resistance, while Gaara, the next Kazekage, wishes to join us. The village has separated in two sides. It started peacefully enough, with a few random deaths here and there involving opposite party supporters, but recently something happened to make Gaara and Chairman Durth wage an all-out civil war." Naruto felt an odd sensation go through the pit of his stomach. A feeling of excitement mixed with anger. He didn't notice that everyone was staring at him because of his now blood-red eyes. He raised his voice. "So, Orochimaru-sama, you want us to go there and slaughter the council and its supporters?" he said in a chilling voice with a vicious smile on his features. Orochimaru looked at him in slight surprise but quickly returned the smile. "Yes, Naruto, that is your mission. Now listen up everyone, there will be 3 teams on this mission. The leaders will be Sakan of the Sound 5, Tayuya of the Sound 5 and Naruto of the Elite Squad." It wasn't long until the teams were chosen and the shinobi left to prepare for the mission. Naruto left with Tayuya and Sakan. Once he was alone with Kabuto, Orochimaru's smile vanished instantly and a look of pain took over. Kabuto sighed. "Orochimaru-sama, you must transfer your soul to a new body. Unfortunately Sasuke's isn't ready yet." Orochimaru bit his lip, drawing blood. "I see, find another candidate, I want him powerful." "Hi, but if I may make a suggestion, my lord." "I'm listening." "That Kausa could do, why don't you take him?" At that very instant, Kabuto could have sworn he saw a look of fear flash across the Otokage's face, but it was gone so fast that he couldn't be sure. "No, find another." "Hi!" Gaara paced through the room of his headquarters, as if waiting for an important report. At that moment, the door slowly opened, revealing Temari with a tear-streaked face. Gaara looked at his sister. "How is he?" "It's still unsure if he will make it or not. The wounds are very severe, and if he does make it he will be disfigured for the rest of his days," said the sandy blonde as more tears flowed down her face. Her body shook with uncontrollable sobs. Gaara looked at her and felt unfamiliar feelings within himself. "Kankuro." The door burst open and Baki came running in with 2 more Jounin. "Gaara-sama! The chairman's forces are moving towards our location." What are your orders? We fight and take this village. Sunigakure must not be lost to those fools. Hi! Gaara looked at Temari and attempted a small, awkward smile. She stopped crying and smiled back at him. Let's go Gaara, let's avenge our brother. Chairman Dura stood on a balcony in the council tower. His black and white robes drifted in the wind. They were opened at the front, revealing a golden Jounin vest. The chairman had graying hair and cold, black eyes. He looked down at the village where sounds of battle could be heard. When a scream echoed up to him, he smiled. He put on a white mask. The mask had the shape of a hawk and seemed to portray a long life of hardship. The chairman looked down from his spot atop the tower and chuckled. So it begins tonight, might be our last, he said, looking at his golden naginata. He jumped down from the balcony and seemed to flow in the wind. He landed in front of one of Gaara's Jounin. The ninja looked at him and cried, Tonight you die, Chairman. Durith simply dodged the kunai strike and stabbed the Jounin in the back. He then twisted around gracefully and broke another ninja's neck. 3 more ninja jumped towards him, but the chairman made hand signs incredibly fast and said emotionlessly, Katan, Hanu Dejiki no Jutsu. Fire style, flame strikes jutsu. He then quickly made more hand signs and said, Futon, Kaze Jishu no Jutsu. Wind style, rising winds jutsu. The combination created a powerful impact, killing the 3 ninja instantly and several more who were close by. Chairman Durith laughed quietly at the slaughter and proceeded to where his assassin squad was waiting. Report, Chairman. We have them cornered. At your orders we will strike. Good. The chairman gave a signal and his men charged forward with battle cries. Not far away from them, Gaara was fighting 10 assassins along with his sister, who had 6. At the sight of the attackers, the redhead killed his current opponents and joined his soldiers. One of the younger ones shook in fear. Damn it! Gaara-sama, there are too many. Gaara smiled slightly and sent a projectile of sand, wiping out a considerable amount of the opposing forces. The young Chunin cried out in joy. You did it, Gaara-sama. Now we can win and go back to our family. The boy's words were cut off as a naginata separated his upper body from beneath the waist. The boy died in a silent scream. Gaara looked up from the bloody mess and saw the white mask of a hawk. His face contorted in slight rage and sand swirled around him. Chairman, Durith looked at the Shikaka container in defiance. Gaara, they stood there staring while battle raged around them. The chairman suddenly vanished in a swirl of sand and appeared behind Gaara. The sand stopped his attack and forced him to jump back. He smiled from within his helmet and jumped forward, making a stabbing motion with his weapon. The sand blocked the attack, but Durith followed it up by throwing shuriken. More sand protected Gaara and the chairman struck again with his blade. The sand formed a spear and stabbed through Durith, who turned into a sand bunshin. Gaara felt the chairman's hands go through his wall of sand and press against his back. The redhead cursed as the chairman said, Katan, Fire Bakufa no Jutsu, Fire Blast Jutsu. Gaara quickly covered himself in sand, which absorbed the attack. He barely had time to recover when Chairman Durith prepared to strike him with all his strength. The blade nearly made it to Gaara, past his defenses, when, suddenly, it was stopped by a katana. The chairman looked at the newcomer, and was greeted by a head of blonde hair. Naruto stood there wearing his elite Chunin vest and looked at the man in amusement. Hey Gaara, you okay? A small smile appeared on Gaara's face. I would have been alright without your help, Uzumaki. I know, but I felt like making a nice entrance. Durith, recognizing the dark purple vest, looked around him. His soldiers were having trouble with the sound ninja. The chairman cursed and yelled out, Men, retreat! Return to the tower and regroup. The Suna assassins looked at their leader. Hi, many puffs of smoke could be seen and soon they had all disappeared. The chairman looked at Gaara from within his mask. Well Gaara-san, next time we meet I will destroy you, he said, and then turned to Naruto. As for you, you must be a slave of that snake bastard. I'll make sure to deal with you too. Naruto growled and replied, If you insult Orochimaru-sama ever again I'll kill you. The chairman chuckled and disappeared in a swirl of sand. Gaara sighed and turned to Naruto. Thank you, coming. With your help, we will succeed in our uprising. Naruto smiled confidently. Yeah, we will. The chairman slowly walked into his room within tower. He took off his mask and threw it onto his bed. He fell to his knees and had a fit of coughing. He kept coughing until blood trickled down from his lips. He took some deep breaths and washed himself off. He then sat at his desk. He closed his eyes but quickly opened them, feeling a dangerous presence before him. He looked up and found himself looking into 2 black eyes, each containing an odd red circlet. The chairman shivered as the eyes began glowing a faint red. Kausa-sama, to what do I owe the honor? Said the chairman in a trembling voice. I want you to do something for me, replied Kausa in a cold voice. What is it? Tomorrow at midnight you will take all of your soldiers and attack the Shikaka container and his forces. Durith looked at the hooded man in outrage. But that's completely foolish. Fighting an all-out war would cost many lives, and the red glow in Kausa's eyes grew a bit stronger. Durith clutched at his head and felt great pain. Kausa continued speaking in cold indifference. I don't care about this petty battle, I'm only using you as a distraction. Make it last as long as you want, if it keeps those Oto ninja here. I understand tomorrow at midnight we will strike. The battle must last as long as possible. When Chairman Durith looked up, Kausu was gone. The chairman chuckled and soon began a fit of mad laughter. He laughed so much that he coughed out blood at the same time. When he opened his eyes, they glowed a faint red. He took his mask and walked out of his room, still laughing. Naruto sat on a rooftop, letting the sun's touch warm him up. He was lost in his thoughts about Sasuke, Orochimaru, and what would happen when he returned to Otogakure. He jumped slightly as a hand touched his hair. He calmed down instantly after feeling the familiar caressing touch of the one he loved. Tayuya sat next to him and leaned on his shoulder, closing her eyes. Naruto, how long do you think we're gonna be here in Suna? It depends on how long it takes to end this civil war. It's so warm here I can't get used to it. Naruto smiled as he could hear her soft snoring. She was obviously quite tired. He leaned his head onto hers and let himself drift to sleep as well. He opened his eyes again, and he saw a burning Konoha. People were screaming and were being brought to shelter by Jounin. Naruto looked upwards at the sound of a roar. A man stood on the top of the Hokage tower. He had spiky blonde hair and piercing blue eyes. It was the Yondaime. Before him stood a familiar creature. The Kyuubi. Naruto could hear some shinobi speaking next to him. If anyone can stop that beast, it's the Yondaime. Yes, he is a true hero. The Hokage summoned Gamabunta and jumped on his head. Naruto ran and jumped next to the Yondaime. The fourth looked at him as though he were invisible. Suddenly, Naruto realized he was invisible. Then, he saw something that was never mentioned in the stories of the Kyuubi's defeat. Upon the fox's head stood a man. The only thing Naruto could see were his eyes. Black orbs and a red glowing circlet. Suddenly, Naruto woke up with a start, covered in sweat. Tayuya was looking at him with a worried expression. Naruto! Are you okay? You sounded like you were having a nightmare. Naruto shook his head and sighed. I'm fine. He stopped as he noticed the sun was setting. He looked at the redhead. We should hurry back to Gaara. It nearly nightfall. Hi, as long as you're okay. He smiled at her. I'm fine. The sky was dark and once again, Chairman Durith stood atop the Kazekage's tower. He looked down and saw all of his forces ready for battle. He smiled evilly and pulled out his golden naginata. He put his mask upon his face and spoke in a voice that carried all the way down to his soldiers. Soldiers, tonight we crush this rebellion, and tonight many of us will die. But we die knowing that it is an honorable death. We are the bringers of a new age. We are the warriors of Sunagakure. Many cries of pride and of battle could be heard. The chairman's smile grew under his mask as he cried out, Now advance upon our enemies and slaughter them all. He jumped off the tower and disappeared in a swirl of sand. Naruto sat beside Gaara, who was talking quietly with his sister. Suddenly a frightened Jounin ran into the room. Gaara-sama! They've commenced their attack. The redhead cursed and asked, How many are they? The man's eyes grew even wider. Sir, all of them. Naruto stood up in complete shock and his expression was one of shock. Gaara seemed frozen in disbelief. Damn that bastard Durith, he said, and then turned to the Jounin. Begin our counter-attack. Tonight we take back Suna. Hi! Gaara then turned to Naruto, who smiled. Let's do this. Many battle cries could be heard throughout the streets of Sunagakure. Blood gleamed in the moonlight. Durith was quickly killing many opposing Jounin. He was spinned his naginata masterfully, and continued his attack. Suddenly, he turned his head towards a familiar voice. You three take the rear forces and the rest of you take to the buildings. I want this to be done as quickly as possible. What about you, Naruto-sama? The blonde elite chuckled evilly. I take the attacking forces. Hi! The shinobi all dispersed, leaving Naruto alone. As the blonde prepared to move, he heard a cold voice that stopped him dead in his tracks. That was quite overconfident of you, Uzumaki-san. Are you sure you can handle such a large task? Naruto grinned his trademark evil grin. You bet your ass. Well then you'll have to defeat me. It'll be a pleasure. Both ninja ran towards each other, weapons drawn. Naruto blocked Durith's stab with his sword's hilt, and followed up with a downward slash, which was in turn blocked by the staff part of the naginata. Naruto smiled and jumped into the air and attempted to cut Durith's arm, but the chairman quickly sidestepped out of the way. As he landed, Naruto threw his katana at Durith, who simply chuckled and avoided it. That was stupid, now you have no weapon. Naruto laughed loudly. Did all his opponents make the same mistake? Mind your surroundings. He pulled on the chakra cord and the blade came back towards him. Durith, realizing what had been done, moved as quickly as he could. Instead of stabbing his head, the sword hit his mask, shattering it. Durith sighed in relief and then looked down at the broken mask. It broke the mask that can only be broken by one who will kill me. I guess this will be my final battle unless I can change that, he thought to himself. He looked up at his opponent. Nicely done, Uzumaki-san. That was quite impressive. But let's see how you deal with this. Katan Kasai Yari no Jutsu, Fire Style, Fire Spear Jutsu. Naruto's eyes widened at the sight of the flames coming towards him, forcing him to jump sideways. As he landed, he knew this was intended and Durith appeared behind him, slashing his naginata across the blonde's back. Naruto cried in pain and Durith twisted around, cutting Naruto's shoulder. The chairman then flipped into the air, but Naruto blocked the blade with his own. The elite then punched Durith in the face, sending him crashing in the ground. Naruto cursed as the man dissolved in sand and time stood still as a golden naginata pierced his stomach. The chairman sighed and pulled out his weapon. He looked at the boy and smiled slightly. Guess you aren't meant to kill me. He was about to turn around but saw that no blood poured out from the wound. Naruto slowly turned around, sporting an insane grin. Dark markings covered his body. Durith gasped. The cursed seal. The blonde elite chuckled slightly and soon fell into a fit of insane laughter. Then, suddenly, his expression turned serious, and he made hand signs. Kaze Kuchibya no Jutsu, wind whistle jutsu. The chairman clutched his ears at the piercing sound the wind around him caused. Naruto smiled and quickly made more hand seals. Kaze Tama, wind bullet. Durith looked up and was hit fully by the jutsu, sending him into a building. He landed on the ground with a grunt, but still got back up. He was met with Naruto's fist. After an assault of punches, his limp body lay at Naruto's feet. Said blonde pulled out his sword and lifted it up into the air for the finishing blow. Durith looked up expecting it all to end, but instead he could see Kausa's eyes in the darkness. He felt cold, unfamiliar chakra fill his body. It froze his limbs and his very soul, causing him to scream a terrible, agonizing scream. Naruto looked at the pathetic man in confusion. The chairman was clutching his head, and his body convulsed until, suddenly he stopped moving. Naruto took a step back as the man got up. When the Oto ninja saw Duritha's unscratched body, he was in shock. Impossible. The chairman's eyes had a faint red glow to them and he looked at Naruto without recognition. He swiftly moved forward and punched Naruto in the jaw. The blonde recovered quickly and tried to strike his opponent with his sword. Durith simply grabbed the blade with his hand, drawing lots of blood. Naruto tried to break free of the grip, but was unable to. He kicked the man in the gut, forcing him to let go and then stabbed him with his sword, pinning him to a wall. Blood poured from Duritha's body and, catching Naruto off guard, he threw his naginata towards the blonde's heart. Naruto was unable to react in time, but to his great surprise, a hand of sand stopped the weapon. He turned his blood-covered face towards Gaara and smiled. Thanks. Gaara made a small smile and turned to the dying chairman. It's over, Chairman Durith, we have won and your forces are destroyed. The man looked at the redhead and smiled painfully as his eyes returned to normal. I see, perhaps you were right all along, and for that I am sorry. Gaara looked at him in confusion. What do you mean? Kausa-sama said he would not tolerate failure, so he made a backup plan. Naruto was sure he had heard the name before. Durith looked at the two shinobi and coughed out more blood. Uzumaki-san, Kausa-sama wanted this battle to distract Oto because he plans to. The chairman's expression turned erratic and he clutched his heart. He cried out in terrible agony. Naruto wanted to hear the end of what the man had to say, so he grabbed his collar. What do you mean? What does he plan? Durith spoke, breathless. Orochimaru is weak and what? Defenseless. Naruto's eyes widened at the man's words. Durith then spoke to Gaara with the last ounce of his strength. Gaara, Kausa has decided that I am to die, and so my heart is failing, but the backup plan is what? Every one of my men has an explosive tag. Durith exhaled one last time and his heart stopped beating. Gaara looked at the dead chairman with wide eyes. No. At that moment the dark skies lit up with the light of 1,000 explosions. What if Naruto is betrayed and gains the Rinnegan Chunin exam? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoyed this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel, and leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down, and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.